Welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm the Liberal 12th Man, and we are here because we want to actually speak on what a great day it was yesterday, considering that there was the final goodbye. A lot of LC fans were able to partake in saying a goodbye to our cherished and beloved gaffer, former gaffer now, Jurgen Klopp. But we are here to talk some Liverpool news, talk about some of the things that he spoke on. Also, talk about some things that are on your mind as well. You know, as in, I know that I've seen about 84 different scenarios with who we're gonna get in the summer, who we're not gonna get in the summer, who's gonna be leaving, who's gonna be going, this, that, and then some. Been on a bunch of different chats as well, seeing some of the familiar faces. Big up to you, Bonkers. Big up to you, Realism Jared. Big up to you, Philip. And to all those that are joining us either live or on the replay. Big up to you all. We're going to be joined by possibly JK today and Lee, but with no delay, let me bring in the Irishman. Big up to you, the Irishman. How are you?
Very good. I just kicked myself out, so brought myself back in. Yeah, classic. No blaming it on the tech there. Literally just kicked myself out.
Just pushed the wrong button. Yeah.
Quality control, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you see this? Ian, big up Ian, by the way. He says, evening, everyone. I was at the arena last night in Liverpool. Brilliant evening and farewell to Jurgen. 11,000 sellout on a Tuesday evening.
Nice. Yeah, tell us more. Tell us more. And throw in a few anecdotes that would have been a great night, I'd say.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
I do have some interesting. We start off that too. I had some other parts and points of the show to go with. I'm gonna bring up the Irishman, your fellow Irishman, in his interview. I'm going to bring up obviously the Klopp interview, which is what we're going to go into right now, and there's some other little points that I wanted to talk to you guys about as well. But yeah, there was some really, I don't know if you read the interview or saw the interview, but there was some, and this is him also speaking to the fans as well last night. He got asked some interesting questions, and he was basically very, very candid and open with a lot of his things. It's amazing what happens when, you can have your I call it the Bulworth style concept, but I know it's a very old movie, but I've referenced it before, and it's like that concept of you're hey, you don't have any restraints on you. You're able to just kind of speak freely, So what did you happen to catch the interview, Brian?
I saw some of the better comments. I saw like you say, it's it's cards on the table now. He's not going to go around slagging people off or anything, but he can speak. Yeah, he's no longer an employee. He is free to speak. He's not going to create any problems for anyone who's still here. But I think he had a few sly little digs where they needed to be had. He let people know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to bring up. I'm definitely going to bring those up. Yeah.
There's feelings there. I think I didn't see all. I'm sure. Look, I'd imagine it went on because I heard it was a very long Q&A. And I've just seen some of the shorter bits from seeing the headline pieces. So it is Jurgen, and I can imagine probably Jurgen at the beginning of the night, and maybe Jurgen 6 or 7 beers later might have been the time to ask him the questions. So he had a few parting shots, all right, but he did it with class. He didn't, he didn't throw anyone under the bus. He didn't. I thought he did it with class and good humor, and which is kind of what you'd expect. It probably kind of sums him up, class and good humor at the same time. And
Yeah.
The few, hopefully it put a few little things to bed. I was reading some of the quotes thinking, oh, well, hopefully that'll put a few kind of, I don't know, dissenting voices to bed, but then realizing it won't. He came out in defense of what the club has been done and the way they're run and the way they're operated. It was very funny what he said about Bellwood. That was as probably close to the bone as he got. Potentially whoever made that decision that he was criticizing is no longer there. But yeah, he had a little bit of fun with it. And you can tell, I don't think he's leaving with many regrets. He always regret losing finals, but I think overall, I don't think he looks back on it as if only, if only this or if only that. I think he seemed to me like, it was a job well done. And of course, like he said,
yeah,
and you'll get onto it if he needs to come back in a couple of years to go around the city. We'll talk about that then.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I do have that quote too. That was an awesome quote, by the way. Awesome quote. I can't confirm or deny this, but Jimmy says more fans at the arena last night for Jurgen than at City's parade. Possibly. I don't know. I think it was a hologram parade. Yeah, one of the first ever. Yeah. I'll bring up some of these quotes that he said. I'll read some of these quotes that he said at least. He says, this is Bishop speaking to him. He says, you leave this club having won the Premier League once. There could be a court decision that means you've won the Premier League 3 times. Klopp interrupted. If you organize a bus parade, I'm in. How long it takes, I don't care. That was cool. That was a cool comment. That's the one that you referenced earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 115 charges against City for alleged breaches of Premier League relegations was one of the most requested question by Liverpool fans on Bishop's Instagram, actually. So that's why he asked that question. So I'm sure that was like, yeah.
I see. He put him up for auction on the questions. I see. Right.
So it wasn't like, it wasn't like, oh, let's just try to break out these questions out of the blue. Yeah, he had that was the most requested question. Most requested question. I'm going to bring up some of since Ian was there, especially. I'm going to bring up some of Ian's points as well because he's absolutely helping out with the vibe here. Because we've
got people on the ground everywhere.
Yeah, we got people. We got the Mighty Reds Army always representing, definitely. Another one was whether Klopp felt he received sufficient financial backing from the club's owners, FSG, Fenway Sports Group. Yeah, that was another big. That was like I think that was like the second or third most popular question, and he replied with a dig at Chelsea's owners and the decision to sack Pochettino at the end of last season. He says, quote, can you imagine LFC at the club with unlimited money, said Klopp. Imagine Kylian Mbappe came here. Imagine Bellingham came here, Haaland. It is not us. It just does not fit. We won what we won, and we did it the Liverpool way. We had hard conversations, and other clubs didn't do it that in the same time. We built 2 new stands, a new training ground. We built Melwood back. The dumbest idea I ever heard was that we sold it in the first place.
That was a great quote. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
That would have made a few pick up.
What's that?
That would a few years would have picked up when he heard. He's like, hang on. He said, "Who said that?" It's because like John Henry. Well, that was my decision. He'd be all like, "Ooh," he'd be all pearl clutching. That was my decision, Jurgen. You didn't have to say that.
If he did, we looked at it.
It
John
was
raised his hand and be like, "Sorry." Yeah,
it was. So I mean, for a few million quid, one of the most iconic pieces of land in our history for nothing. Really was. He's right. That really was just a dumb decision.
Yeah. Honestly, we're going into this right now. Actually, we just mentioned the dig. We're going through the dig actually somewhat right now. He said the owners do what owners do. Surprise, the owners want to earn money. Sorry to tell you that. It's not like they earn money on a daily basis. They invest something, and that's how the whole world goes. He continues by saying, we should be really happy that we have these owners and not guys who bought London clubs and other stuff. I wouldn't have survived a year at Liverpool with them in charge. Great development, but not good enough. Sack him. A year later, sack him. Then finally, they play football where people think they might be back, and they sack the manager anyway. People always think the grass is greener, but we have owners who really feel responsible for the club and work really hard as well to be successful. I felt supported. We did it as good as we could have done, and I'm fine with it. So I get that, like, you know, everyone wants the perfect owners. Everybody wants the perfect management group. Look, you know, there's a lot of people out there that you're trying to appease and trying to, you know, basically, bring happy smiles to. The plain and honest truth of it all is like, it gets down to, look, the owners the owners have the money. They put it in, they bought the team, so therefore it becomes their stewards. They're stewards of the club. And what he's trying to basically say is like, look around you. Top clubs are owned by people that do far worse, if not, or at least not even try to hold any bit of like a measure to hold against. So like,
I think it's his grass is always greener comment there, isn't it? That he's saying is, is anybody saying it is impossible for us to have better owners than FSG? No, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
There could be someone that comes in and has more money to spend than them and has the interest of the club at heart. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's a very shallow pool of people we're talking about. What we're talking about here is, could we have been much worse off? Yes, we could have been way worse off.
Right.
We could have been bought over by, like, and this isn't to do with any nationality because these owners come from all different countries. These are just where these companies are based. It's by a bunch of bloody clowns, right? That's come in and taken over Chelsea, that's come in and taken over Manchester United, throwing money at the wall. Casemiro's, Enzo Fernandez's, Sackins, this, that, all of that stuff. We could have been in turmoil for 10 years. Like, we could be 8th where United are. We could be 12th where Chelsea were for a while, ended up in 5th. Sack the manager. So it's, I think, again, this isn't, I don't do the FSG and out thing. It's just, we could have been in a far worse shape than we are now. And these guys, I think, have done an excellent job in terms of the money that's been spent and the healthiness of the club and the state that it's in. Again, I know everyone hates them, but I think they've done an excellent job. I don't think Klopp was in yes man mode, as people like to say. Yeah, being polite and respectful, but I don't think there's going to be a follow-up interview where he comes out saying, I wanted this and I wanted that, and I didn't get it. He knew what the score was. I think everyone should know what the score is. You may not have to be happy with it, but at least know what it is. And just be, at least be acknowledgeable. What's the word? Not often I'm stuck for the word. Just acknowledge the fact that we're not Chelsea and Man United, and we could very easily have been.
Yeah, be cognitive of it. Yeah, be like, to be, I know what you mean. Be cognitive or be aware, be, as you said, acknowledge, just be appreciative, the fact that, like, look, they're to ask for the unicorn. Like, what's funny about this too is that I've heard some Chelsea fans as of late complain about, some were trying to stick up for Poch. Some were trying to say, "Oh no, we want to throw Poch out with the garbage." Basically, let me bring in JK too. By the way, big up JK. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian. Have you cool?
Jackie.
Brian.
Yeah, very good, man.
That's good to hear.
I'm glad
But yeah,
that
no, but what I was getting at is that they were it was like a very interesting mixed bag when it came to because a lot of the Chelsea fans, let's just be honest, are pretty, you talk about some spoiled characters. There's a good segment of their fan base. It's just that because of the money and the cheating, basically, that their ownership group got to perform during the 2000s and the 2010s. And I'm not saying that's no alleged, that's confirmed. Okay. So, and they're speaking on things as if, okay, we want our team to be this, we want our team to be that, having been a team that just spent $1 billion in transfers. But they're like, oh, we want our team to be during like the Roman era and all these different little things. And I'm like, that's what Jurgen one is talking about here, in the sense of you've had what, since I don't know how many managers have they had since Jurgen Klopp has been at Liverpool? Like
all of them.
I don't even know if you can count them all on one hand, possibly.
I'd guess around 10. I'd guess 10.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they had 4 in one season. When you take into account like the Lampard, when you take like caretaker thing, like the season where they sacked Potter, they brought in Lampard, they got rid of Lampard, brought in someone else. They must have had 10 since we've had Klopp.
Yeah, and that's why, like, you hear these things and you're like, okay, I understand exactly what he's referencing, because like, who wants that? And if anything, that's not good for the league, much less for football in general, to have that kind of like, not only atmosphere, but to be able to do what he was doing. They had to cheat. They had to put offshore accounts. They had to do all these different like nefarious things to maintain the ability to just sack managers and buy high-priced players and then ship them off on loan to some like unbeknownst part of Europe, and then just have these rotating contracts and have these payments to like family members and such under off the books. That's why I'm like, I hear Chelsea people talk about these kinds of owners, and I'm like, you don't want that. We don't want that. You don't want nation states. You don't want these like oligarchs, in a sense, that like do these kind of nefarious things again. Like, it's not good for football. Now, I'm not saying that FSGs are the white knights of football. Not in any means of the word.
Yeah,
but what I am saying is
that is on record, by the way. Sorry, no, I just think because this people are listening, and I'm with you. This does need to go on record. Neither of us here are saying FSG are brilliant, amazing, best owners of all time.
Nope.
What we're talking about is owners of other clubs. No one is here. This isn't us waving an FSG in flag. This is just us saying, in comparison to all of the other owners, if you look at them, that's just all I wanted to make clear.
Yeah. That's what I was just getting at. Is that I know is that this isn't. I'm trying to just say that this isn't more so a state of, hey, I'm trying to defend FSG per se. I'm trying to get across that, like, it's just interesting. The people put these other characters or other people up as being like, oh, I want my owners to be more like I don't know, like City's owners. Oh, you mean the ones that have 115 charges pending against them? Oh, no. I want my owners to be more like Roman and Chelsea's owner, like with Roman era. Oh, you mean the one that once they got bought out, they showed that they were close to 20 years of him cheating and cooking the books and doing all this different bad stuff for football. That one that used all this, like, that's not what we want. Now, I'm not saying that FSG is the end all be all. If we can find better owners, fine. I'm all for it. What I am just trying to get across is that I would like to see that we don't put other owners up on these pedestals that don't belong to be on pedestals. That's what I'm trying to get across.
Wrecking clubs.
Am I, did you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, JK, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think
again, this is not. I'm not trying to get it all. Trying to do something against. Again, because I know JK. You have certain opinions on FSG. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to make sure you understand. This isn't. I'm not trying to make a ploy to say that FSG is the model of the best model you can get. I'm just trying to get across that we shouldn't put these pedestals up for these other groups like your Glaziers or your that take money out of the club, or your Romans, or your. That's what I'm trying to bring the emphasis on, and that's what basically Jurgen was saying in his speech or in this interview. But go ahead, JK.
Yeah, I was just saying, when you look at football in the last 20 years, for example, ever since like Fergie left and stuff, you've looked at Chelsea, and what they've done in the last 2 years, for example, is not the way you want your club to be run. You spent that much money, and then you end up sacking the manager who probably didn't even pick them players. Let's get that straight. So he's walked into a mess, and he actually did pretty well at the end. He got some results as a Chelsea manager. But for me, it's like he never had a striker. He had Michael Jackson up front.
Michael Jackson.
But
Action Jackson.
All in all, Chelsea a mess. Man United, also another team, spent so much money, and they don't know what they're doing. They give them ridiculous wages. In that way, FSG shine in the light, because they've done it sort of on the cheap, and they haven't wasted a lot of money. But in turn, on with that, I believe they didn't give Klopp that cherry on the cake sort of transfer funds, that little bit extra, just to make the difference. And that's all it was really. Because when you look at FSG, they've done many marketing, advertising projects within the club in the last few years to make the money get higher and stuff. Fair play, get that done. But at the same time, they should keep the fans happy by going that extra mile, by getting a few extra players in to win us a Premier League title. Like, for me, the way they've also handled the Klopp, Edwards situation, very unprofessional. Because if you're John Henry and you're the owner of the club, you're going to say to them, guys, listen, out of respect, I don't want Klopp or any news regarding Klopp or the new manager to be talking about until the end of the season. And I think that was a big mistake by the club. I think we could have handled that a little bit better. I think if Klopp said Monday or Tuesday this week that he was leaving, we'd be hurting right now. But we would have probably won the league title. We don't know that. And so that's what fans don't really understand, why I didn't really like the way we handled the whole Klopp soap opera. Everyday news coming in, then Arne Slot not saying anything, like Arne Slot saying nearly a month ago he's going to take that job. He didn't need to do that, So for me, that was coming from the top. Could be the owners, could be Edwards, I got a big belief, like Edwards, when he went out the game when Klopp was leaving. So that told me everything about him. Look at the fans who turned up for Klopp yesterday, in that centre. You could have filled Anfield yesterday.
Yeah.
You could have done it, no problem.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like they're putting Edwards bigger than Klopp now. That's what we're looking at with some fans. And that's all down to the ownership. The ownership have gave Edwards maybe the right to do what he wants. So he's going to do that. He's going to tell Klopp, listen, make a video. Arne Slot, say you're coming in, just to rock the boat. And where he should have actually said to the owners, look, guys, we need another DM in January. And he didn't do that. And that's, for me, shows you the true colours of Edwards. If he was really invested in Liverpool, he would want them to be successful. He didn't do anything about the DM position in January. So for me, we've been badly run for the last 4 or 5 months. Ever since Klopp decided it was his time to tell the fans that he's going, we've been run like a bunch of idiots. And we embarrassed ourselves, got knocked out of every tournament. And that's the energy within the club. You can see it from Klopp's demeanour. He wasn't on top of the world. He wasn't really happy the last few months. Come on. So that's the thing about the ownership of football clubs now. They're businessmen trying to make money out of everything, They probably can, if they could, like, if you go for a piss, they'll probably charge you for that if they could.
Come on now.
Yeah, no, but bro, like, come on, you know.
I get
when you
you. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, like, look.
What, if you,
Go ahead.
do you sorry, when you were saying there, JK, you said when Klopp decided it was time to tell the fans that he was leaving.
Is that again, bro?
You were saying that Klopp decided it was time to tell the fans that he was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But that was in.
I wouldn't say it was Klopp's decision. I think maybe it was the club's decision to do that there and then. And also,
But
Edwards has been in.
If you think about it, right? If you think about it time-wise, so basically, what you have is a scenario where Klopp has decided that he's leaving. Now, I know, like, I was one of those guys back in the day. It's like you have to keep stuff in-house. But I think I think it'd be utterly, like, it'd beyond impossible for us, knowing that Jurgen Klopp is going to leave, to begin the process of finding a new manager to take over without that immediately becoming public knowledge, because you contact agents, because otherwise the only way to avoid that would be to wait until the very last day of the season, then Klopp says he's leaving, and then we start the process of looking for a new manager. Because the second you look, and I said this from day one, the time in that interview was so weird that the only reason they would do that is because they knew that they had obviously, they was going to come out the next day. Because they had made contact looking for a new, just like the club should be run. They should be getting ahead of the game and getting it. They can't be waiting until the last day of the season. So I think it was utterly, like that Realism Jared said there, this day and age, you can't keep that stuff quiet.
You can't.
There's no way it could have been kept quiet. With us going out there trying to interview different manager candidates.
Yeah, as soon as you want to interview different managers,
everyone knew Amorim was on a plane to London. Yeah, everyone knew he got on a bloody plane to London. I get what you're saying, Jake, and I'm all with you on that back in the day. But these days, as soon as, like, let's not forget, it was Jurgen Klopp decided to leave. He wasn't sacked. So he put the club in that position. Edwards couldn't have been involved with the DM in January because he didn't return to it. He still hasn't returned to the club in his capacity. He may be working behind the scenes, but it was Jörg Schmacke and Jurgen Klopp that were doing transfers in January. They were the ones getting the deal done. He said, that was his. So, I just, a lot of what's been going on here, I think it's very unusual. Like the vitriol towards Edwards, someone that I get it, and I think it's fair enough. Yeah, I don't think Klopp and Edwards get on.
I agree with that.
That's true. But I think what I pushed back against. Klopp left because Edwards was coming back. I think it's the opposite way around. They wanted to bring Edwards back. Edwards said no. Then Klopp decided he was going to leave. And when Edwards realized Klopp was leaving, he decided to come back because he doesn't work well with Klopp.
Right.
I think that's true. They don't work well together because, Edwards wanted to make decisions. Klopp wanted more power. Well, Edwards is like, well, look, my job is to find and recommend players. If you don't want my players, then there's no point me being here. Goes off, does his own thing, comes back, gets his own job above this. I don't think there was any kind of conspiracy. Like, Klopp is the one that decided to leave. Like, I just come down to the thing. I think that it is not possible for a club to be well run. As soon as Klopp tells them they're leaving, we have to have a new manager in place before pre-season starts, or we're not a well-run professional outfit.
Or we're going to be looking like possibly like Manchester United right now. Like, look what Manchester United has a coach that got him to the FA Cup, and they're up there talking about how they possibly don't know if they're going to be bringing in a manager or not. They might start looking, and then they're starting to look, and now you have this coach being like, "Am I going to be here or not going to be here? Am I looking at this summer or am I not looking at this summer?" And we don't even know that till today. We're still, and this is a group, quote unquote, and this is another like segue into what I was going to bring up next, is this is a group that has, for instance, Manchester United has the group is called INEOS. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
INEOS.
And apparently European football's governing body states that the same ownership, can't own two teams that are in Champions League or even Europa. Well,
in UEFA competition.
In a UEFA competition, exactly. So it just so happens Nice and now Manchester United are both in Europa. So now they have a decision to make, and so not only do they have a decision to make on their coach, but now they have a decision, the ownership has a decision to make on which company, or which company he's going to let go of, in essence, or which team is not going to participate in that competition and have to be possibly knocked down to a lower competition.
But he's not letting go of Ineos. Ineos is one of the world's biggest companies. So that's like Apple and chemicals and stuff. So that's his thing. He's got to
Ineos, Ineos owns 27% of United. And
he's Jim Ratcliffe is Ineos, basically. Jim Ratcliffe.
Right.
When you say Ineos, you can just say Jim Ratcliffe, because that's basically what it means.
Right.
So he's going to have to get rid of Nice. If they're not allowed to have both, then he's going to have to get rid of Nice. Definitely.
Right.
Just
right.
And it's became a minority. I think it's like you can't be a majority shareholder in both. You can probably own like 5% of Nice or something.
Well, probably this is what has to happen. This is what has to happen, apparently. Excuse me. It is said that it was floated that the 71-year-old who you're speaking of, right, could let Nice become a standalone entity in the Ineos group, thereby separating themselves from United, who has the biggest club in the portfolio. Ratcliffe will seek to remove day-to-day control at Nice in order to satisfy UEFA. So basically, he's got to let go of his day-to-day control of Nice and become the day-to-day controller of Manchester United. And it's just another thing that this ownership, this Manchester United Red Devils group is like walking into, basically, which is so interesting. Because there's a lot of groups that have had to already deal with this kind of situation. Brighton had to deal with it this year. Again, excuse me, I'm a little parched here. Because they own Brighton's ownership. What's his name? Tony Bloom, right?
Yep.
Tony Bloom owns not only Brighton, but he also has a share in ownership of Union St. Louis, or USG, the team that we played in Europa. So it's one of those cases where it's like, it's so interesting. It's like it's so interesting because I also got to see what's the name of that team in Spain? Girona, right?
Girona, yeah. The one
they're owned by
the City Group.
Yeah.
So Pep's brother. So when Pep claims any ignorance of, I don't know what City do behind the scenes, I'm just here to coach the players. Just like, yeah, right, mate.
Right.
Your family is in deep with the City Group. They are in deep.
Right. And those two groups, now Girona has made the Champions League. They got third or fourth place, right? So they're going to be in Champions League next year.
Yeah.
So now what do you do? What do you have? This I can understand what you were saying earlier in previous shows, Brian, about the slippery slope multi-team ownership can bring. It can really bring some slippery slopes because
it's only good for a small minority of the people involved, and it's bad for the majority of. Like, football should be about fans, and fans don't want to know in their heart of hearts that their club, it might be a club, but anything good that comes out of it is just going to get taken by this bigger, better, richer club that owns you. That ain't football. I'm sorry, if you want it, cool, but to me, in my heart of hearts, that ain't football. I mean, if I told my dad about that, he'd be like looking at me going, "Are you what kind of sport are you describing?" That's not the game. But anyway, look, you get bogged out. Yeah, but look, these guys, these things are catching up. It's like, well, guess what? Like if you pump a load of money into one of these tiny little clubs, and maybe they might pull off a wonder season, the next thing you know, what you thought was your feeder club that would always sit in like 12th or 13th in Spain, well now they're in the bloody Champions League and you've got the problem. So yeah, good, you deserve it. You know, like obviously it'll never be an issue if you buy some South American club or in a different confederation. It's not going to be. But if you're French and Spanish and Belgian clubs, and you pump a load of players in and you send them a load of like really good City players on loan and stuff, they can pull off a really good season. So maybe they should have seen this moment.
I'm not a big fan of us owning another club, you know. Yeah, like for me, Liverpool is unique. I don't want to be connected to any other club. So I think a lot of fans feel like that. But what about you guys? Are you in favour of that or no?
We've had partners. No, sorry, haven't we? We've always had partnerships. Because I know we had like an official partnership with.
Most clubs do have like some type of like.
We didn't outright own them, you know.
But you have partnerships, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. It was like border on being seen as the dreaded feeder club. That's no biggie if you're a 4th-tier club and you're talking about Liverpool. It's not kind of insidious that way. You might get a little bit of help by us sending a player on our own, but just outright owning them. Like this Girona team, you know, they've got a guy this year, Savio, Brazilian winger. I know he sounds like Football Manager regen, but yeah, anyway, that's it. Savio, Brazilian winger, plays for Girona, one of their best players, already has agreed a 30 million deal to join City. You know, can you imagine how difficult that negotiation was? Like, so when's he signing? Because he's basically already there. So what are we putting on the books for this guy? Let's say 30 million. Cool. Because it's all our money anyway.
Right. And I don't really. No
other team could have. Sorry, just quick. Like that's what I'm saying. No other team could have gone in and try and bought that kid. Is what I'm saying. He was just obviously just going to go to City if he was good. That removes the whole kind of part of it as well. Like, so, you know, a bid more for him, or a couple other teams trying to. Like that's part of the game as well. Like.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, it depends on where the team is. For me, look, I know the Irish and I have had different opinions on whether we could ever really make a dent in the South American market, in influencing players in that market to start to want to play for like a club like Liverpool as opposed to Barcelona or Real Madrid. I'm not saying it's not a tall mountain to climb to get over, but one way of possibly creating some type of culture or some type of connection would be if we were to have investment in those regions. And when it comes to maybe like Africa or maybe like South America, something like that, I'm okay with venturing out and getting multi-team ownership. But I don't know about multi-team ownership inside of Europe because of these kinds of circumstances that could arise. That's something I'm not for. That's something I don't think makes sense. And it's something that is a scary scenario for any team to think that you would have to possibly give up, either the owner has to give up ownership, which means that's like telling a billionaire, hey, you know what, we're going to take away your ability to control something that you own. That's not necessarily words that any owner wants to hear. Or you're going to have to take your club out of a competition, which will lessen your revenue take. And that's also something an owner does not ever really want to hear. So I can be on board if it means, like I mentioned earlier or yesterday, the Vasco da Gama, right? Vasco da Gama, or like you know, or, you know, I wouldn't even care, like, if it was like you know, imagine if, I know it'd be horrible per se, but like if we were ever to pick up like I don't know, like a Boca Juniors or a River Plate, like that's something that would be monumental, but it will also be a situation where a scenario Brian spoke on, in the sense of, you don't want to take these historic clubs and turning them into feeder clubs. So it's like, I don't know, it's a really difficult place and position to be in, where you want to do something that's going to possibly create that bridge, but how you create that bridge without, you know, blowing up the landscape that was there before, is a very difficult scenario, I think.
Jacob,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just looked at setting up foundations is always great, you know, to put money into these stadiums or places, put money into the youth teams and all that. But I think as
Mhm.
these companies grow bigger and bigger and bigger, where they see opportunities to do things, and then you may have, unfortunately, for a lot of these smaller clubs, it doesn't take much to turn their head. Even some of these historic clubs, Santos recently just been relegated, you know, to a team like to a group like Man City. £30 million is absolutely nothing. It's literally nothing. I mean, they wouldn't even notice it, and that would mean a complete regeneration of a club like Vasco or something like that. You know, and then a
Right.
promise of
Yeah.
10 million a season for the next 3 years. Just 60 million could
Right.
completely, and they'll find it incredibly difficult to not sell sell the family silver, as it were, the legacy of the club. Not something
Because
I ever
you
want to
could do
see.
something like that. You could do what, basically, you could possibly go into like the Brazilian market and do what City did in, obviously, the Spanish market with Girona, as in take a club that pretty much no one really possibly even heard of, much less really thought of as a superpower, and sink some real investment into them and make them into an actual powerhouse. And again, you got to also consider that the concepts of the structure of how they're run is not, like, as in Vasco da Gama is not run under UEFA, you know, so it's not like the same, you know, constraints are put on a lot of different those other clubs. That's what, you know.
Yeah. No, I just, there's lots of little opportunities, but I just like,
Opportunities for sure.
yeah, I just like the idea of, uh, without a doubt, I think it's a great idea, if at all possible, to position ourselves to be ahead of. You can't be ahead of everybody because all these guys have the same idea. I mean, everyone has the same idea now. They all have the money to do. Even bloody West Ham could probably go out and do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But to position ourselves as best as we can to be in the queue for this South American talent that we all know is out there, and that we'd all like to see coming in. But there's only, you know, you can only bring one or two a year that will ever make it. So it's not like you need hundreds of these guys. So yeah, but to be in a better place, to not be relying on agents basically to get you these guys, but to just have a
Yeah.
better input, or a better kind
Yeah.
of way, a better tap into the market that's there. Because everyone always, they always say, you know, oh, why didn't we just do what Brighton did? Why didn't we just get Saicedo for 3 million instead of bidding 115 million? It's like, okay, well, there's a middle ground there, so let's get into that middle ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's the reason. It's the reason why, you know, the City Group, for once again, has a team in America, for instance. You know, like,
One
as
of
in
their
they have,
first, wasn't it? New York City, one of the first ones, I think they set up.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, they're playing in one of the biggest stadiums. You know, they're playing in Yankee Stadium. You know, they're playing in one of the biggest cities in the world. You know, and an incredible market. You know, it's not. I know Manchester is what it is, but Manchester is no New York City. So I just realized I'm wearing a New York State shirt, but all the same, you know, but
Is
it
that what that
isn't.
is?
What's that?
Is that what that is?
Yeah. It's like an old, like one of those like vintage
Oh, I
shirts,
see it. No, so now, yeah, it was fun. Now I see it. I see it.
Big Apple shirts or something like that. But yeah, you know, that's that's the way it is in this modern day football. Look, a lot of the things that I like to romanticize about, are just that. They're just romantic memories in the sense, that I know realistically probably will never be able to see again. Like I said, there's a lot of different things that are what it is. But it's funny too, because you know what? I heard on one of the other channels, content creator channels, one of the guys, I guess he's from America, I guess he lives in Pittsburgh, was speaking on how they're going to, he's like, oh, I never thought that they would ever bring Liverpool to Pittsburgh and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you recognize that FSG owns Pittsburgh Penguins, right? So, I mean, there's a reason why FSG is coming to Pittsburgh, and bringing one of their biggest, attractions to Pittsburgh, because they have roots there now. You start building up roots in different places, and guess what? They'll show up every once in a while. So it was just interesting. Let me see. Hylor saying, bingo, Liverpool 12th man. You get it with the Brazilian league. That league lacks also a lot of the structure and the financials that you normally would find in Europe, almost a blank sheet. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that one. Because there's reasons why, it's funny. So if I know for all the video game players out there, there are, there's if you go on to EAFC or whatever it's called now, 24, FIFA, basically what it used to be called, you can't get Brazilian players because the Brazilian league didn't sign a deal, didn't agree to the deal for the likeness of their players. Now, there are certain teams that are in the Brazilian league, but for instance, like I remember when the Andre thing was going on, the first thing I did was, I'm going to try to see what this guy would be like on Liverpool, right? And he's not available. And one of the major reasons why is because Brazilian leagues it's the Wild Wild West when it comes to availability and opportunity. And that is the same, not only Brazilian league, the Argentinian league as well, is the same way. Very much the Wild Wild West. And there's also a lot of other viable leagues in South America that are definitely have some really untapped potential out there. But speaking of potential, there was this last dig that you guys might have heard too. I'd like to hear the panel and the chat's opinion on this one. Klopp also mentioned this. He said, speaking on Manchester United's treatment of Jadon Sancho, Klopp said it was a manager's responsibility to stand by a struggling player. He added, quote, if the whole world loses trust and faith in the player, then the manager has to be the one behind the player. I cannot just buy into that he's useless stuff like other clubs did, by the way, buying a player for £80 million and then sending him out on loan. Yeah, little dig right there at the Red Devils. I have a two-part question. One, do you contend or do you side with what he has to say as being like, how you feel about it as well? And two, if Jadon Sancho was to become available, would you accept him as a possible red? I'll ask JK first that question. It's a two-parter, I know, and I'm asking the chat too. You guys can give me your answers as well. But JK, you there, JK? You're off mute, but there's no audio.
Have a little dash back across.
Yeah. He's gonna log off and log back in. Irishman, do you have an answer for that one then? Because I mean, realistically, what Dara is saying is spot on. He's basically kind of saying, what is going on with Nunez in essence too. Like, as in, to think that there's a rift. If he's going to make a statement like this, then obviously he's saying, hey, you know what? Like a player that's been bullied or been, or just been or fallen out of favor, he's going to stand behind them and be loyal to that player. So, but again, if you need me to reread the quote, I can.
JK is back. JK is back.
Okay, JK, you back? You want to get a stab at that one?
Yeah, what Klopp said there is the perfect dig. What Ian just said in the comments, and for me, I wouldn't want Sancho now.
A no on Sancho?
No.
Okay. That was quick and easy. Okay.
Why not though?
Ian's-
Genuinely, what is it about? I mean,
No.
you've obviously seen what he can do in Germany.
Yeah. I
Just
think the only reason I would take him maybe is for him to get back at United. Played great for us.
Yeah.
That would be one way I would say, okay, we'll take him on, I think he's not a fan of Man United. Probably don't even like the club, He ended up back in Germany. So for me, that was the only way I would take him. But when you look at the fee and the clubs involved, you can never see Man United selling him to us.
You don't like him as a footballer or as a guy?
No, I think when he was in Germany, bro, he was fire.
That's the thing. That's like we were at. Like that was the talk. It was Liverpool for every time someone was good at Dortmund. Oh, Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah. And we never ended up getting anyone from Dortmund, did we?
No Pulisic failed. No Sancho failed. No Werner, or not Werner. No, the other guy that went somewhere failed. We didn't get Werner. He went and failed. All these people that fans are ripping their hair about. Oh, we didn't get Sancho. Oh, we messed up. We didn't get Werner. We messed up. We didn't get Pulisic. We messed up. Every single one of them came to England and failed. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I would be Kai Havertz again. Oh, we should have got Kai Havertz. Oh,
I know about your feeling. Yeah, you like Kai. I know.
No, again, he's proven people wrong, I think, but he failed at Chelsea. So all these players that supposedly we messed up by not getting from Germany, they all came to England. Sancho failed. I won't go through them again, but they all failed. So, did we really miss out on all these players? I think Werner would have done the business under Klopp. I think he went to the wrong club. I think he would have done the business under Klopp.
Yeah.
I think he just went to the wrong club, had a bad start. The other ones, I don't know. Would Pulisic? No, I don't think he was actually that good. Just too injury prone.
Christian, that is the Irishman saying that, not me.
I'm sorry. Yeah. This is just my thought. My thoughts are not the thoughts of the Liverpool 12-man champs. They're purely my own. But he's doing well at AC. I just don't think.
By the way, yes, I was about to say. By the way, scored in the final game of AC.
I don't think England is made for him. I just don't think England was made for him. Sancho, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. But to JK, I don't understand why Sancho hasn't done it in England because he's coming back home.
But look at the clubs, bro, involved. You got Chelsea where people fail, and you got Man United where people fail. That's what I was on about. The last 20 years.
Yeah.
The last 20 years, them two clubs have gone downhill, and they spent a lot of money doing it. So I think if Sancho went to Man City.
Yeah.
Say again, bro.
No, I was saying that was the point I was trying to make without saying it. Look at the club these people go to.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
And
I think
if
Sancho came to us or to Man City, he would have been a bit of a good player, I reckon.
I think so.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Wrong choice. And this is what I'm saying. The agents need to realize what they're taking their player into. Yeah, you're going to get 300 grand a week. But at the same time, your guy's going to get loaned back to Dortmund. So
yeah. I mean, you got to think Sancho was one of the most coveted players in that transfer window. Yeah. He was easily the most coveted player, as in like he was the Bellingham, or like as in like that level of player.
He was going to be the one. He was going to be the one that changed.
Yeah.
He was going to be the one. as usual. He was going to be the one. But I'm just interested because 12 fan agrees with me. I'm just wondering, JK, do you think that Werner, and I believe it, do you think Werner would have been a success at Liverpool under Klopp? Because I think he would have worked.
Possibly. I believe with Klopp being the manager again, Klopp would have done wonders with him. And I think Pulisic is another guy. I think Pulisic came to Liverpool instead of Chelsea. He would have been a better player as well.
Just injuries, dude. Just injuries.
Yeah. So Werner, yeah, one of them ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's interesting. The reason why I was asking that, I saw in the chat, I asked if the chat would actually take on Sancho as being a Liverpool player. I was surprised to see Daryl said yes, he would. And that was surprising. I thought maybe his hatred of Red Devils would oversee, the potential. Because there's always that, like, the fact that they were formerly a Red Devil. It's like, for instance, like Anthony Martial was released, and he was released, and it's like Martial had such promise. I mean, he was touted as being one of the golden childs.
Most expensive teenager of all time.
Yeah,
I think he's still, might not be, but at the time, most expensive teenager of all time. And they gave him, I think they gave him 180 grand a week.
At like 16, 17. Yeah.
Oh no, he's older than that, a little bit up, but yeah, anyway, they gave an enormous amount of money when it was, he was going to be the one. Everyone wanted him. They all, again, they failed. Yeah.
But again, it goes, I like to think of it as what JK mentioned earlier too, and that is, and what you're I think alluding to by, could Werner have been good or been, have really projected to be better than what he ended up being in the Prem at Liverpool. And one of the reasons why I think that is because of the structure of the club, because of the obviously the coaching staff that he would have been under. And I think it would have made a major, major difference in the approach that you take with that player. At Chelsea, I think that does not exist. It just doesn't exist. It's not the best environment to get involved in. It's an environment. I think it's just, unfortunately, an environment of egos. Go ahead, Irishman.
No, just sorry. New manager every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no real. He's gone 5 minutes later. New guy comes in and he likes you. Okay, cool. He likes me. He's gone 5 minutes later. New guy comes. He doesn't like it. It's like, that must be real hard for a young player, like an established player, but some young kid that's bought for big money, and the manager that buys him, stakes his rep on him, gets sacked 6 months later. Some new guy comes in. I don't really like that. That's what you need. That stability that we got with Klopp. But the one thing I'd say about Sancho, I actually wouldn't worry about it, because the feeling I get is that Jadon Sancho hates Manchester United just as much as we do. Like, I think he can't wait to get the hell out of there. I think so.
I think he's done with United, and especially if Ten Hag remains, there is no way that he's going to want to go back to that situation.
That was a big. Ten Hag was supposed to come in there and get rid of the Deadwood, which was basically, now this is
he's supposed to do what Arteta did, which is show tough love by,
but it wasn't supposed to be to Sancho. It was supposed he was supposed to be, he was kind of a sacrificial lamb for the getting rid of, like, Operation Sell Ronaldo, which wasn't going to go down easy with anyone. He got to take up that one. And in fairness, he also got thrown that Mason Greenwood football that nobody was expecting. He had to deal with that. Okay, so that's too big. Next thing you know, he's got bloody Sancho, who cost 80 million quid, and he's coming out and he starts a row with him. Like, this guy's that one.
Well, it doesn't help too. It doesn't help too when you have, and it's a good segue, it doesn't help also when you have a player like Rashford, basically, who's quote unquote best of pals with Sancho, kind of undermining his, authority in essence, by, contradicting what the coach says and standing. I mean, and he has every right to stand with this teammate, but I mean, it's one of those kids. It's one of those scenarios where it's like you're not involved, man. Just like kind of like let these two men, do what they need to do. Don't get involved. But I don't know if that has influenced it or not. And then why I said segue, and that is Ian. I'll answer that question in a little bit, Ian. About Freddie Adu.
We could do a whole
I'll answer that question.
video on Freddie Adu.
Yeah, that's one of those.
Benfica is the move.
African passports. That's one of those African passports, man.
Yeah.
Situations. But again, with Rashford, apparently now Arsenal is in talks to acquire Rashford.
That's been around a while.
Danny Welbeck.
It's picking up now that we're in the summer. Pick up a little bit more pace, or a little bit more fury. But that is the talk.
Bernie with the stats there. That's just, is that 3 out of 5? What kind of average is that?
I don't know.
What's his XG CC on that as an expected car crash? Is that good or bad? he's crashed 3 cars.
He plays on a team that is a car crash in itself.
Wow, that's like I've done 2 Porsches and a Ferrari since that lad arrived. But is that how they measure things at United now? How many Ferraris you've wrecked since the manager arrived? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. He needs to stop driving, man. Get a chauffeur. Yeah, get a driver. You're rich.
You should get a driver, by the way. If you're going to be a player that goes out and parties or does their thing out there, you need to get a driver. You need to get a driver, and if the driver could be a /bodyguard, hey, do what you need to do. If not, get both. Because there's always someone out there that's going to try to make a dollar off you by getting involved in your face, or trying to make some type of viral moment, or the fact of if you are going to embark in some of those libations, or if you have a lead foot, hey, there's no point in.
And by the way, nobody is suggesting that young Mr. Rashford was at all at any time drunk whilst driving and crashing.
No,
we are not in any way suggesting that. And Bernie, can you please clear up why I'm missing the point, and why I'm missing the point as usual? I mean, okay, he was stable before the new coach. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it, but I was just joking. It's kind of it's like, do we have stats on all of the cars crashed since Ten Hag came in? But I guess
at least he didn't do what who was it Memphis? Was it Memphis Depay that you told me, or who was it that?
Memphis, yes.
Yeah, at least he didn't leave his Ferrari somewhere and then forget about it.
No, that's pennant. Memphis Depay is the one about like him getting demoted to train with the under 21s by Fergie because he was taking a piss, and Rooney took him to one side and said, "Look, don't worry about it. He does this to everyone. You're not the first guy. It's just a thing. You'll be back in training with the big guys in 2 days. He's just making a point. Just whatever you do, just don't show. Look, just come in tomorrow in a sedan. No, just in a sedan. In a Ford Orion. Ford Taurus. Just show up in a normal car. Come in. Don't flat. You're showing up to train with the kids. Yeah, you're showing up to train with the kids. So just keep it chill. Don't act the big dog. Memphis Depay shows up in a cowboy hat and a convertible Rolls Royce.
Go ahead, Memphis.
Dolce and Gabbana, dressed head to toe in about 50 grand, cowboy hat, convertible Bentley or Rolls Royce, but either a Bentley or a Rolls Royce.
Like Lil Nas X,
for training with the under 21s.
Probably something crazy.
Yeah, he literally heard like don't show. He just starts show up flashy. Okay, Wayne. Okay. So yeah, but the other one was about Jermaine Pennant getting the train to get the plane back from like Marbella. He was in Spain on loan, and he got a phone call from his agent saying like Birmingham wanted to sign him on loan or something. So he drove to the train station to hop on the train to get the plane back to England, and like 6 months later, he gets like 50 or 60 parking tickets from Spain, and he's like, "What the hell what are these for?" And it's like, "It's for your Porsche. You parked it in a train station in Spain." He's like, "Oh yeah, the Porsche. Forgot about the Porsche." It's just like, yeah, 80 grand, 90 grand Porsche. Just left it in a train station. Completely forgot he even owned the thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, the Porsche in Spain." Oh well. I mean, cool, nice.
Yeah. I asked this question too. Yeah, I know. On the US, yeah, that would be ugly if he was on I-10 or US 60. Those two highways in this area are always under construction in some way or some form. That would not be good.
He's a very strange player, Marshall. Rashford's a very strange player.
Yeah, I mean, like, I asked the chat if they would even take a shot. Would you take a shot on Martial as a squad player now that he's a free agent?
No,
never.
No, not now.
No.
I'm not saying as a starter. I'm not saying as someone that just as a pure squad player.
Can't stay fit. You think no?
Okay.
Even Rashford, I think Rashford is such a weird player. He can, like, he looks amazing for 8 games, and then for 8 months he does nothing, and then he looks brilliant in 6 games, and then 6 months does nothing. Really weird player. Really, I wouldn't have even him. I wouldn't have. But he gets, because he's English and all that. Like, I don't know if Rashford was Spanish, he probably wouldn't still be at United.
Well, yeah. So far, it's a solid no from Dara. Ian says not for him. His ship has sailed. He says rather give Kumas or Dons a chance now. That's interesting. Very interesting. I'm not saying I would. I was just putting it out there because I know that I know that we could use some real support. I don't know if Kumas is the answer to like providing the relief that we would need for a pending possible eventual departure of Salah, or as a backup. I'm just looking at it as a backup per se, as of right now, but just wondering. And even, I mean, Rashford could play that role too. I don't think Rashford likes to play on the right side though.
No, he can't, but he can only play on the left. He's awful when they try and play him through the middle. Like, he's streaky on the left, but if you play him through the middle, he's just atrocious. He can't, like, he can score 8 and 8 and then just do, like I said, just do nothing for the rest of the season. He's such a weird player, and they keep giving him like 300 grand a week contracts, and like all the stuff he does out of football is absolutely amazing. That's brilliant, and that keeps his profile up. But like I said, if he was just any other player, the way he just goes kind of whole seasons without doing anything, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, and that's a good question. Dara asked a good question. I'll let you answer this one, JK. Where do you see Doak's future? Because he was, I mean, some of us, I included, was hopeful that he was going to be given that opportunity to do what you saw Kwanzaa do this year, or what you saw possibly even Bradley do this year, and that is be given some backup minutes, but also be given some starter minutes when needed, and possibly develop and grow that player into a more everyday asset. What are your thoughts on that though? What do you think about Doak? What do you think its future is?
For me, first things first, like last few years, Doak and Batstick were the biggest Out of the youth players, they're going to come through. I think sometimes hype sort of damages the youth players. Hence why I don't really hype up no youth player. I don't think they really need it. The pressure is big anyway, you know. I think sometimes hyping up players has a bad vibe to some players. Some love it, some don't. And I think Doak had a face last season, just before he got injured as well, like Carvalho had. This like a stroppy sort of face. Never seen the guy smile, Doak. But he's gone with Scotland now to the Euros training camp.
Which is that's good to see too, by the way. That's
good
really
to see. He's going to get involved. Robbo's there, so Robertson's there. He'll look after him. Maybe he'll get a surprise little substitution role or something like that, you know. And that'd be for me. He needs confidence, you know, and he needs to start playing games. When he gets a run of games, then we can see how good he is, you know.
Yeah, that's what Ian's saying. He says he needs to see more of Doak. All the times he's seen him in the first team, he struggled for him. Kept dribbling down blind alleys or losing the ball. Needs more time. I think sometimes you get.
Oh, quickly, how old is Doak? I don't think he's.
I'll look for you.
Definitely not. Right? He's not 17. Like he's not like he's kind of at the upper end of the kind of teenage type.
Yeah. No. He's not upper. Yeah, well, teenage. Yes, considering I don't think he's even 20 yet. I don't even think he's 20 yet. Let me double check.
I don't even know.
I don't think he's 20. I think he's like 19. Ben Doak is 18.
14. 18.
Yes, he's 18. Yeah, I knew he was like he's about to turn 19.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's got time.
He's about to turn 19 because he's born in 2005. But he's about to turn 19.
For me, him being with Scotland will build up his fitness. And we'll see what Slot can do with him next season. Maybe he'll get a little look in, you know. We've got 4 competitions, so we'll get a look in somehow.
I'd have. He got an injury at the wrong time.
Yeah.
He was getting some minutes in that UEFA thingy. I fully like word for word what I think it was what Ian said. I think it was what Ian said, pretty much word for word what I would have said in terms of running down blind alleys, looked this. Like the only other thing I was like, when you're talking about a player that young, when you're talking about any player, when you're talking about anything in football, almost life, the variables to come into predicting where a young player is going to end up makes it almost a nonsense. You know, it makes it pointless. But what I will say is, like, if you ask me something, first thing I thought is what Ian said.
Yeah.
Second thing I thought is he's too small. That's the first thing I thought. He's too small. All right, and that's why I was wondering how old he is.
Okay.
Now you.
Meaning is he gonna have another growth spurt or something or?
Yeah, I was just wondering, was he 17 or was he 20? Was he 20 next birthday kind of thing? Because to me, I'm not saying you can't succeed, but I'm saying the Premier League has become more about strength and athleticism now than we'd like to believe it has. But it is, you know, like even the technical guys these days are big. And to me, Ben Doak is very, very small. So
he is, but have you seen his also real quick caveat is that he has put a lot of bulk on as well, though.
Yeah, he is. He is. No, I'm not saying he's tiny. I'm not saying he's a will o' the wisp. I'm not saying you can't succeed. But to me, it just stands out that he's not. He's going to have to be very good. You know, and I don't think, like, I'm not saying he's tiny, but I mean compared to the average player, I'm just saying what stood out to me about him this year.
Yeah.
Skillful, raw, all those things. To me, he says. I don't know. He said a year on loan back in Scotland or a year on loan, but he needs to play every single week in the Premier League because he's not going to get to prove himself at Liverpool. Is what I'm trying to say. He's not
Yeah.
going to get enough chances to prove himself in the league to become a league player. So he needs a bridge. He needs to go somewhere where we can go, oh, look at him at Brighton.
I don't think he's a 9, by the way, too, as Dar. I don't think he's a 9.
I think he's like a wide.
He's a wide player, I think.
Not an old-fashioned winger or something.
No,
definitely
more like
not
inside,
wide.
like inside forward.
You get gobbled up in midfield. He ain't going inside. That's all I'd say. I'm sorry. I just think he's too small. He's good. Like his skill would have to be so good. He can be bullied out of games, I'd say, physically.
Well, that's why he's also. So he is. It depends on. I don't want to insult any of the vertically challenged out there, because I know Alexander just said he's not that small. He is 5'9". I don't know what that is in the the conversion of that is, but he's 5'9". So he isn't exactly
he's
huge
not vertically
player.
challenged,
Yeah,
but he's not big. No, he's he'd be
but
probably taller than
why I
Raheem
was
Sterling. But that'd be around Raheem Sterling. So Raheem Sterling wouldn't be
I would that's probably a good shout.
you know,
I think
it'd
Raheem
be
Sterling's
similar
probably like 5'9". Let me see.
Yeah, Sterling is similar size.
Yeah, I would think that Sterling's probably about the same size. It's probably like 5'9", 5'8". Yeah, 5'8". It's 5'8". So so you're looking at like a Raheem Sterling, but the difference between Sterling, for instance, and Doak is that why I was making sure, or not make sure, but why I was emphasizing the fact that he has put on bulk, because I remember him the year before that. He did not look like he did. He's been in the weight room. That's my point, is that he's been in the weight room. And I think that one thing he's been trying to compensate, because he understands possibly that he doesn't want to get bullied or doesn't want to be, because him going up against 6'2", him going up against a Konate style center back, or something like that, is not going to end up well. You know what I mean? It's not going to end up well. But he has been putting on a lot of bulk in my opinion.
The point I'm trying to make is like what Dara is saying there. If you're not that big and Fowler and Owen played in a very different era, where we are now, there were big guys back then, but the average height and size of these players has gone up across the board. The size of them. But what I'm saying is, when you're that small, if you're good enough, doesn't matter how small you are. It's like the whole thing. If you're good enough, you're old enough. If you're good enough, you're big enough. But what I'm saying is, if Doak is exceptional, that won't matter. But what I'm saying is, the first thing that struck me, that's what I need to say, that the first thing that struck me when I saw him in the men's game was he's small.
I got you.
He's small.
I got you.
So
it's
like
messy.
what I'm saying. Yeah, so exactly what I'm saying. When you're small, if you're good enough,
you have to be that good. Yeah, you have to be. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So Doak at that size,
Hazard was small too.
So he's going to need he's going to make up for his lack of strength and height and all that. He's going to need to be extra good. Is all I'm saying. I'm sure in a league and in a championship or a Scottish league, he'd be phenomenal. But we're talking about the big boys league here. We're talking about.
There's a lot more players that are that height than you think in the league. I mean, Bernie's bringing out Foden's 5'7", Bowen is 5'9".
Players. Foden probably player of the season in the Premier League.
Yeah,
that's what
I'm not
saying.
That they don't have. Incredible talent. Incredible talent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These small guys, to succeed, you need to be excellent, because the Premier League has become such a physical and athletic game now. You're seeing less and less of these guys, which is why the small guys that do make it quite often are exceptional players. So these are all proving the point, as it were. Foden is absolutely world class. If Ben Doak is 3/4 of the player Foden is, we've got a good player on our hands.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see how tall he was actually. Let me see how tall he was actually. I don't know, but yeah, I was going to look. I don't think he's that tall either. I think Thomas Werner is not that tall as well. I want to say he's like 5'10",
He's tiny. Werner's tiny, man.
Yeah, I want to say he's like
But if you look at
5'10",
Messi,
maybe.
Messi's
He's
tiny.
under 6 feet.
Messi's a brilliant header of the ball. Just shows you, like, it's just like it's a, if someone's bringing up a Messi as a comparison, to prove, maybe
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Messi's tough.
Well,
Foden
Messi can do it.
they're all like, yeah, Messi's a world talent, Yeah, he's 1.8 meters or 5'11". So that's probably they're probably stretching it a little bit to give him. Yeah. Thank you, Realism Jared. I just saw that too. Yeah, 5'11". So I knew he was under 6 feet, but
Bring back Mighty Man. Mighty Man.
But yeah, you know what? So before we're almost on the 90th minute here, and I wanted to bring up a question for you guys because this is something that's been kind of irking me a little bit. Something that I've actually seen a couple people say on a couple different content creator pages, but also or sites, but also it's something that's hurt our own fan base kind of get at here and there. And that is that who do you think had a better season this year? And when it comes to the top or the big six, basically, obviously City had a phenomenal year in the sense that they won the Premier League, but some could say that, some could say that they did not really have that great of a year. I mean, to go from a treble to basically winning the Prem, that would certainly say that's a departure from. It's not. It's still a phenomenal accomplishment.
I take it.
Yeah, I'm sure people would bite your hand off to take that, to take that opportunity.
Yeah. Oh,
but
just the two
but for
titles
considering where they were, what their aspirations were, and considering that so many people have rated us as having some, not so many people, but there are those that have rated our season. I saw, for instance, Stevie
don't blame
Nichols
for not winning the Champions League. I don't blame him for not winning Champions League because that can happen. But yeah, to knock out another double losing to that United team, that's pretty. Yeah, that would stink a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I think bloody league.
They still deserve a parade. Yeah, you should have a parade because you won Premier League. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that you could see it as a disappointment for City, considering that they got knocked out of Champions League. They got they obviously lost the FA Cup. They obviously didn't win the League Cup. They won the league, which is an accomplishment. And I'm not diminishing that accomplishment. But for City to have gone from a treble the previous year to now, winning the league
at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true, but you're just at an elite level, I suppose, compared to what they won last year.
What would you give them as a grade? What would you give them as a grade? If you're gonna A, B, C, D. Tell me in the chat too. A, B, C, D. I think those are grades you guys use too, right? Just make sure. So I remember you said something like a C is like
A, B, C, D is fine. A, B, C, D is fine. Everyone will get the gist.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me a C. They've got the best team, most expensive players, and they.
This is City. This is City. I'm asking
City.
No, I'm making sure the chat knows that too, because I saw. I'm making sure because they're giving.
They sort of crumbled in the same way we did. Like we were going for everything, and we sort of crumbled. They sort of carried on in the Premier League. They won it, but in the FA Cup final, like, come on, that was terrible. And then the Champions League as well. So for me, it wasn't a great season for them. So a C is cool.
C, okay. Irishman.
They won the league, so you'd have to give them a B. Be
Right.
disingenuous, If we won the league and someone gave me less than a B, I'd be punching them in the face, in metaphor. Yeah, so a B. But I get by
A
their
B.
by their standards a drop off, but yeah, it'd be disingenuous to say they didn't win the league, which is
Mhm.
probably your job. Everything else is a knockout competition, but also close to a B minus because when you have a chance to kind of do that kind of like that United team,
That was like a layup double. That was a
yeah,
layup for a double. Like
that's
that is an
close to a
easy
B
layup for
minus.
a double. Yeah.
Yeah, it really like you shouldn't be getting. Okay, maybe Eric Ten Hag come up with some kind of plan to do something, but
Mhm.
like your Pep Guardiola, surely after about 20 minutes, you should probably realize what that is. You shouldn't be sitting there after 90 minutes going, "Oh well, he came up with a plan, and I knew what it was after 10 minutes, and I just couldn't deal with it." It is poor, but again, I don't want to give him any credit either. So
Yeah.
begrudgingly a B.
Okay. Okay. Because yeah, it's it's kind of crazy to say you won the league and it's not like closer to a B plus, if not an A minus or an A style year. I'm sure it would be for a lot of teams, regardless. But for the elite level that City is at, and the sheer
Yeah.
fact that they puttered out the way that they did, yeah, that kind of like takes away from it.
I suppose they set their own standards, really, don't they? I suppose these are the
Yeah,
standards that they set, so we should judge them by it until they all get taken away. So, it's as at the moment,
yeah. Yeah,
they've won what?
VAR was the winner. That's right, Dara. VAR was the undisputed winner of the league, apparently, because they got to pick and choose which games they could kind of influence and make their mark on. I agree with that one. But yeah, it was a question. So this got thrown out, and what the basis of why I asked the question about City, and it'll even go into because we will have an episode. We're gonna do an episode where we're gonna rate the league, basically, give out report card grades for the performances. But like, what was interesting is that there's been this new narrative out there that cups don't matter. I don't understand that narrative when I hear people say, "Oh, you won," and they try to diminish it by saying, "Oh, you won an energy drink cup," or they try to make it, well, or you won a cup that was formerly called the milk cup or something like that, or they reference the FA Cup as being just like not oh, you had to play like so and so team to get there, or this team to get there, you know so whether it's from the championship or whatever. And it was a very interesting take that like a lot of people don't really put respect on the cups these days, which is kind of sad. But they don't put as much uh, respect and gratitude towards these cups, being the FA Cup and the League Cup. Um, Even when you do win them, they look at it as like, oh, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters are the major cups, I guess you could say, or the major trophies, which is obviously the Champions League and obviously the Prem title. And I get that those definitely hold uh, a lot more weight when you get to say you're the winner of that competition or that tournament or even that season competition. But I don't understand why people are just basically belittling, if not like acting as if these cups don't matter at all. Like I've heard people say, I don't care about the cup. I saw a Red Devil content creator basically make fun of the League Cup that they had won the year before as if he doesn't care. Say the fact that they were, relishing in or getting put into this like 7th, 8th place or wherever they ended up in the league, I think it was 8th place, right? That they were an absolute, travesty, and he didn't care about the result of the FA Cup. The FA Cup doesn't matter. That's what he says. And then the very next day, this same Red Devil content creators wearing sunglasses and talking about heritage matters. I just don't understand
Fake
where
blow
we
up
are.
trophies in the background.
Yeah, I don't understand where we are. But,
well, one thing I'll say quickly is that before the Premier League was formed, it would depend on per season, maybe, and depend on the club, and maybe a lot throughout the 70s, the 80s. But the FA Cup was almost as big as, if not bigger than, winning the league. It was actually seen as big an achievement as winning the league, and the big teams took it as seriously. So yeah, but it's not that long ago that the cups were taken hugely important. But I think the Champions League has eroded it a bit, because I've been following on a different line on forums that I've been watching. Is you got a Man United fan saying that, which has started a whole conversation, that Man United had a better season than Arsenal because Man United won a trophy. Arsenal, okay, they finished 4th, got in the Champions League, but no one's going to remember them finishing 4th or whatever, 3rd, wherever they finished. They got Champions League. No one's going to remember that, but you remember trophy wins. And they're saying City or United have had a better season, in their opinion, than Arsenal have had, because Arsenal didn't win a trophy.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so they're saying, Man United fans, look, we won a trophy. We won an FA Cup.
Right.
You didn't win a cup. Okay, you finished 4th. Okay, we didn't get Champions League, but in 10 years' time, we'll have a trophy up on our trophy cap. You won't have a 3rd place trophy. So
right. You don't participation.
So who had a better season?
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll have fans now who go, oh no, finishing the Champions League is more important than winning a cup.
Yeah.
So I suppose it kind of depends on what's. So I'd ask that to somebody, like, what's more important to you, finishing in the top 4, or finishing? Okay, I don't want to say outside of Europe. Okay, I don't want to say finishing outside of Europe, because if you win the FA Cup, you're going to get into Europe anyway. So that's irrelevant. So, do you finish in the top 4? Would you take that, or would you take a League Cup or an FA Cup?
I mean, that answer is. I mean,
what would you take?
If it meant, obviously you're not winning the league. So I mean, top 4 as in you're getting either 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
Oh yeah, that's your only thing for that season. Yeah, your only achievement that season is either finishing top 4 or winning one of the cups, which only gets you.
I would take winning the FA Cup over making
Champions League
4, because then at least you not only got a cup, but you're also getting into a European competition.
Yeah, you get into Europa, but you don't. Yeah, the only way
you don't get into Champions League, which is where you want to be. I understand that, and that's what I would want ideally. But I would want to have.
You want the FA Cup? Would you take the League Cup over Champions League qualification?
I wouldn't take the League Cup over Champions. I'd rather have have Champions League over League Cup, most likely. Only because League Cup doesn't get you the same. I don't know. That's
okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't get you into Europe. But I mean, that's a good question.
JK, where are you on that?
Before I make a definitive yes or
no.
Yeah,
let JK have a go, and you can have a think. And let's JK see.
Yeah, I'm taking top 4.
Top 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Over both cups.
Yeah, because I feel, when you're not playing Champions League football, it's just horrible. And then you see Arsenal playing it like last season. It's like, come on, that is horrible. So for me, I'm taking
a double. What if you could do a double? Let's say you
No,
get FA
no,
Cup
no, no,
and
no, 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 don't. No, it's only the one cup. No, no, doubles are different. Doubles. So it's only.
oh what?
No, because what I'm saying is that the narrative that I've been reading along is that these Manchester United fans have kind of come together saying they've had a better season than Arsenal because winning an FA Cup beats finishing the top four. And so lots
Right.
of other fans have
That
been
was the
chiming
yeah,
in
that was the
saying
argument or
what their
conversation.
preference
Right.
is that they rank winning this. So, and it's a real 50-50 split. This is what I mean, because there's a real 50-50 split. And this is fans of, Preston and Newcastle. It's not just fans going at each other. It's like, yeah, I'd probably take it's 50-50 whether you take an FA Cup or you take the Champions League. For me, because it's us, and like Dara said, because of your history,
Because of the history you
we
want.
have a lot of FA Cups, and it's incredibly important for us to be in the Champions League.
Right.
So that's where you need to be.
Right.
But the idea, I'm completely with you. I hate people that say they hate the FA Cup. Get rid of it. I hate the League Cup.
Right.
Especially people who say they hate the FA Cup. And they say they love Liverpool, they love football. It's like
you don't
the FA
understand
Cup.
the heritage. Then you don't understand the history of this club.
It's open. It's an open competition. It's literally
Right.
anybody can enter it, and anybody has a chance to win it. That is the essence of sport. It's an open competition.
Right.
That's if you don't like the FA Cup, then there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. Again, I know there's too many games, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm not taking it over the League Cup, and I think I'm kind of with JK. Yeah, I'd go Champions League,
even for the FA Cup.
Kind of, yeah. At the moment, if we only had one, I'd feel different. But I think that's the point Dara is making. It depends on your history. We have loads of them, and it's important to be in the Champions League. But if you're someone like Brighton and it's a chance to win an FA Cup, then you've been off the Champions League. Hopefully they would. But even
so
then,
how about this? This question then. I'll ask this to the chat and to you and JK then. Since the FA Cup is a competition that is obviously late in the year, and this could apply. There is a game. You're not in the running for the title, but you're neck and neck with I don't know whoever, going in for holding on to fourth place. Right? You can either put a strong squad together for that league game to hold on to fourth place, or you can put a strong squad together to win the FA Cup. Which do you do?
Fourth place.
You go strong squad for fourth place, and and give up on and put whatever team out for the FA Cup. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking the chat too. I'd like to know the chat. We have or at one point we had almost 20, 30 people in here. So
You seen last season what happened when we got fifth.
oh, well, if there's 23 people here, you better hit like. By the way, there better be people liking. So if there's 23 here, I don't know. If there's not 20 likes on this, then we may not. I might just give up and never come back.
Yeah. What would be your answer in the chat? Please tell us. So I would like to know. You have to make a sacrifice on your squad selection. You can either go strong squad for FA Cup, or you can go strong squad for the league. Strong for the league, not League Cup, league, obviously. So league game to hold on to fourth place, or are you going strong squad to hold on to FA Cup?
Yeah,
It is massive. It is a massive difference, Ian. Too. I agree with that. I understand that too. That's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah, I just can't help going back to what Dara is saying. It's all about kind of the fact that it's not without. I just probably it's an old. I don't want to sound like a. But it's the whole FA Cup. Kind of completed it, mate. Okay, we can do with a few more, but look, it's a club like Liverpool cannot not be in the Champions League.
Yeah, I get that.
That's especially like this year. It's like when I've said it before. You can take them hits. You're out of it once. Something happens. Like, oh, what happened there? It's a wobble. And it's like, oh, yeah, bang. You need to get back in it because you have a wage budget which is basically index linked to the Champions League. It's not index linked to Europa League. It's not linked to not being in Europe. It's based on being in Europe. So that is like,
no, it's going to make the financials is going to make a huge, huge difference.
Like if we were to be out of Europe for 3 consecutive years, then we've got FFP problems.
Yeah.
Then we're having to sell. You need the income at the level that it's, these players are projected to be earning this, that we have to cover that. So unfortunately, I think we have so many trophies in the cabinet. Like Shankly said, Liverpool exists to win trophies, but back then it was not easier, but it was easier for a club like Liverpool. Now you've got a club like Villa that are in the Champions League.
Oh, you're saying because there's a lot more competition for those 4 spots.
This is like, I mean, you can understand why these guys want constant European Champions League type football, where they hate the idea where they spend all this money and then Liverpool isn't in the Champions League. Villa can beat it. There's no United, Newcastle, Chelsea. That's crazy. The amount of money they have and they've spent, and they're not in Champions League next year, and Aston Villa are. They'll be looking at that going, how the hell has that happened? How have Aston Villa gone from being nearly relegated to League One, well, not relegated, going out of business, had they not got promoted a few years ago, being the Champions League? They got to be looking around going, what are we doing wrong? How can Man United be going, oh, this is cool, yeah, we're doing fine, we're doing good?
No, I get you. The more I hear you, the more I understand that. Yeah, I guess maybe because I think we made out okay this year by still being in Europa. I wouldn't say that I would want to do it on the regular. Like, hasn't become fixated on winning cups over placement on the league. Obviously, Champions League is the ultimate goal, is to make a Champions League.
Just to shore everything up. It's just to shore everything up. Yeah. It's like you've got that money coming in. So you can buy the car, you can remortgage it, you can pay your bills. Yeah. You're cool. That's all we need. It's just like, okay, we're cool now. We've got Champions League money. You take that for we lost it last year. You can do it once, 2 years out in a row. It's like, oh, no, we got to sell people. We got to work. Yeah. Salah might have to go. So, I think we did brilliantly to do everything we did, compete in the Europa League, and get ourselves back into that base.
In the Champions League, yeah.
Yeah, base requirement did that. While all these other boys floundered around us. And we did it with Endo, and we did it with Kwanzaa, and we did it with Bradley, we did it with underperforming players. So I think we kind of nailed it when you look at it this season from afar, and you go, yeah, do you know what? I'll take that. I'll take that.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know the new format. Alexander says you can't miss out. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more money involved in the new format too.
Yeah.
It is certainly a shout. I guess also I'm thinking myself, I'll be out of it for technically the next year, but I would certainly plan on us winning the Europa, so that regardless of our performance, we could be in it the following year. But obviously that's not a foregone conclusion either sometimes. But it was a question, because I know that the Red Devil guy was, obviously trolling a little bit, but he was also like I don't even know what, he certainly was doing his troll moves. I've heard some of Gunnar Lee's takes. I've heard some of who else has been out there saying, Robbie from AFTV. I heard his take in him trying to basically give his own angle on it. I've heard, and this is being, do cups matter, and who had a better year relative to like winning cups and winning this and that, because he was sitting on his own channel and he was talking to, a Manchester United supporter that has a FA Cup. He's sitting next to a Liverpool supporter that has a League Cup. And the difference is, albeit Manchester United is not going to Champions League, but we are. The same as Arsenal is. But the difference is we're going there with a cup in the cabinet. They're going there with a participation award. And now they're doing what I will admit happened to us last year, which is trying to call the Charity Shield a Super Cup, actually. So, and they're trying to state it as it being such. I don't know. I think the history of the of that competition is unfortunate that they allowed for the winners to sometimes have it be a tie. I think that's what really hurt the prospects of that competition.
Well, I think it's all about look. It's a charity event, basically.
Or it's Community Shield. They call it Charity Shield. Same thing.
Well, yeah, it used to be the Charities, and we changed it to it is the Community Shield now. It used to be called Charity Shield.
Yeah,
it's just a charity event they used to hold, and now fans have taken hold of it and argue whether it's this or that or not. It's just like, look, it's a game. It's the official kind of, what would you call it? The season opener, right? That's what it is. You used to open the season with Charity Shield, and you end it with the FA Cup. That's how it used to work. FA Cup was the last game after the season had ended. Now they've made it like that again now because they messed it up the last few years. Remember, they had the FA Cup final, and then there was like another league game to be played, and everyone was like, "That's just wrong, lads. No. Last game of the season is the FA Cup final. First game, Charity Shield. But they seem to have fixed that. But yeah, it really isn't anything to get your knickers in this about Charity Shield. Like, it's I know they'll probably, if you let FIFA at it, they'll probably make it an 18 competition next season.
Yeah. But it is kind of. I mean, there's no Super Cup in England. I've argued that.
No, it's their version of
has become a version of the Super Cup in essence.
Yeah, but it's to raise money for charity. That's what it should always be about, and they should never let it go away from that. They play in enough competitions. It's a one-off game. Like, if you look, no one talks about these anymore. JK, do you remember testimonials? They don't happen anymore.
Yep.
They don't do testimonials anymore. They used to do testimonials for players. Player would retire, and they'd have a one-off game. But then it became like, pretty quickly, it's like, well, hang on a minute. This guy's been earning 40 grand a week for 10 years. Yeah, so they used to do a thing where it's like, oh, well, look, no, it's a testimonial, but all the money goes to charity, all of it. They made a really big point of saying, no, the player doesn't take anything. But then they just stopped them because players make so much money now.
Yeah, now it's like,
It used to be like, oh, you get one last big payday, as a send off, $100 grand or something. Oh, that'll set him up, for that, Now it's like, does Cristiano Ronaldo need a testimonial? But they should do more of them and make sure, like, it's like 100% everything goes to charity. Because if you had a Klopp testimonial game or a Gerrard testimonial game, what it's like up there. You'd have 40,000 people at Anfield immediately. All the money they should keep doing. They should bring them back.
Sign of respect and a thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it for the player. Exactly, you do it for the player as well. That says, maybe it makes it kind of a bit more special for them. Not everyone gets one, kind of thing. And then you could easily make a couple of million quid for the
Oh,
Hillsborough
easily.
Foundation or whatever. Everyone comes in, stand outside to put a few quid in a bucket.
Now
You
they,
know.
but now you don't even need a testimonial. You could just do like a GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, can you imagine Messi on a GoFundMe? Please GoFundMe. I need. Yeah,
I bet you there would be people that do it, man.
the people would pay.
Oh,
You
I
are
bet you people would
absolutely
pay.
right, man. You are 100% right.
Yep.
People would give him money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's my $10, Leo. I only have 15. I wish I could give more. So
Yeah. They would do it.
they
Would
would.
do it. Even though he was trying to get out of paying taxes in Spain and got in all that kind of trouble. I'm sure that if necessary and he needed help, his fans would certainly come to his rescue. He's got a loyal fan base for sure. Him and Ronaldo, both.
Yeah, Pop did right
have-
to it. Matic and Thiago. That's fair. He did. Bernie is saying he gave them a shout.
What's that?
Bernie is saying clock with Thiago and Matic. He's saying.
What's interesting too is that Adrian hasn't been announced as being departing yet, really. He originally was part of the 3 that was supposed to be departing, but he's not on the list. Like I have the list
shoot him out of a cannon.
Huh?
They're waiting. They're going to shoot him out of a cannon. They're going to make a big deal out of it. Just fire him back to Spain.
Oh man.
People are so want him gone. People are so mad to see him gone. It's crazy.
I thought he was just gonna. I don't know. I thought he was just gonna he's gonna go to the Liverpool stables and ride a horse into the sunset.
Yeah. Where's Adrian? Oh yeah, where's Adrian? Oh, he's gone to live in a farm upstate with all the other goalkeepers. He's fallen.
Yeah, there hasn't been an announcement. I know that Adrian was likely to leave as one of us to be joining Matip and Thiago, but that was class. If I didn't see that part, but I know that he has given out, the point of making them go lead, like they were the two people that got to at least go in the
kind of presentation type thing, the box.
Yeah. Like he made sure that they got their time in the sun before hopping on stage himself.
Have you seen what they're trying to do with Ali now? By the way, they're trying to make out that he's a Saudi target.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. No, I've seen that, but again, there's so many weird angles with that just don't make sense of him even thinking of going in that direction. One, Ali's obviously got many more years left to be a top world-class goalkeeper. Two, he has every means of thinking or looks like wanting to be the national team's goalkeeper for Brazil, and third, on top of that, just like whether it's just culturally or just with other aspects, but just the fact that he loves Liverpool as well. He's very well and very comfortable and being in where he's at.
I think in Europe, even if you just want to say it not just at Liverpool, I just think for someone like him, the idea of moving from Europe to Saudi Arabia, I think, is the issue as well. For me, this sticks out. But I don't put too fine a point on it. Yeah. I don't see they talking about Ederson going there and Ali. Really? Yeah, I'm with you, man. I can't see someone like Ali just going, yeah, that's the place for me to live and bring my family.
Yeah.
No. It's too. It sounds like there's room and there's actual legs on the Ederson thing.
There are legs on that, but I can understand. I think that's just, there is a ship in the crest of Manchester City. I think that's just the rats leaving the ship before it sinks. I really think that's just like a lot of these a lot of these players, if not the coach included, knowing that the writing is pretty much on the wall, and they don't have the overwhelming perception of the world, or of the audience, or is that they're guilty. I understand you're innocent until proven guilty, but yeah, it's one of those cases where it's like, I think they know. I think they understand. They know. They want you. You expect the best, but you want to prepare for the worst type situations. You know what I mean? You guys both on mute. You guys both taking little breaks.
Sorry, I didn't realize JK was. Yeah, I think you might be right there. Like in terms of a few guys going, look, there's nobody that's going to be like you said. I said this the other night. There could be a thing tomorrow that comes out and says that they're innocent, and there's been a full, they've done their case, and 90% of football fans are still going to be like, yeah, but they're still guilty. We all know they did it. They just got away with it.
Just got away with it.
Like,
which they said last time.
Yeah, everyone's mind has been made up.
Yeah, they've already done it.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if there's like the first case. They've already been tried once, and we saw how they got out of that.
Like all the players know. All those players know. Like we talk about them being, they need, don't be so harsh on them. They're humans. They're this or that. It's like, yeah, exactly. They're humans. They live in the real world. They read the papers. They read, they play for that club that's accused of doing all those things. All of those players know exactly what 95% of football fans think of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they know that, like, even if they get rid of their court case, it'll be on a technicality. It'll be because they got rich lawyers. It'll be because of this and that. Because everyone just goes, yeah, but
or because they keep kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, we all know what are. You might not have gotten convicted of it, but we all know what you are.
Yeah.
Those players know that they don't get the kudos or whatever. They say, oh yeah, well done, you did it, but you did it at City.
Yeah. Oh man. One day, Richard. One day we'll all be there. We'll take a little tour of Anfield. But like I was just gonna say, I just think that they know what's coming. They know the writing's on the wall, and as any person really wants to do, you want to get out in front of the train before the train runs over you. You know what I mean? And it's so interesting because I don't think not many people thought that Pep would be leaving. He's still a relatively younger. He's a young man, and you would think that he would. There's still some, having built the legacy that he has built. You think that he would want to continue that, but 9 years. He's coming up on 9 years himself. 9 years at a club is a long time, very long time. Big up KJ, by the way. Big up KJ.
Yeah, I don't think the fans stays beyond. He's got one more.
Yeah. Wait, is Everton? By the way, is this going to happen too? By the way, we're going to be landing the plane here. I just saw this one statement here. Apparently, Everton and Leicester will start next season on minus points because of breaching FFP rules, and Newcastle don't have to sell. They are not in Europe. So not the latter part about Newcastle, but are Everton going to be losing points, even more points?
Well, if you look at the first word of that It's
Apparently,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Everton, I don't know about. Leicester,
I do.
100%.
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard
Leicester,
that.
100% are. They got like they overspent like because I never tired of bringing up with Ant, my Leicester fan friend, the most expensive squad in terms of market value ever to be relegated from the Premier League, the
Mhm.
highest wage bill ever to be relegated from the Premier League was that
Yeah.
Leicester's team. So guess what? They broke FFP.
Hmm.
Now, just because they dropped to the Championship doesn't matter. They come back up, they're going to get hit with that now. So it's all about whether it's 4, 8, 12. I reckon it's probably going to be the higher end. Otherwise, it wouldn't be really an issue. Everton, I didn't realize. Maybe they've got another one coming up. And I think the idea with Newcastle is that the PSR rules in England aren't as stringent, aren't as tight as the UEFA FFP rules. So Newcastle will only be bound by PSR regulations next season as opposed to PSR regulations and UEFA FFP, which would come into account if they were in one of the UEFA competitions. So they're only
Oh, okay. Okay.
so that's what it
Okay.
means is like Newcastle only have to comply with
That's
Premier League PSR next
right.
season because
And
the UEFA FFP is much more stringent.
mhm.
So they are getting away with that. Gives them a little bit more room, I think is what he means by that, which is
Mhm.
correct. But I guarantee, yeah, Leicester fans are laughing about it right now, and they're all out to get us, yada yada. But Leicester are getting smacked up. They are
Yeah.
getting hit
Yeah.
by points.
Do you think that I thought this great minds think alike. Big up KJ once again. Um, do you think that that's why Maresca or Enzo Maresca jumped ship, as he's saying, for Chelsea? Again, I mean, like, look, there's no point. There's no point, in trying to. It's one thing for you to take, as you said, the biggest payroll and to get the club back up from the championship to the Prem. But it's another thing if you're in if you're now starting off the league in the Prem with a point deduction. Do you think that that's why he maybe jumped ship to Chelsea so quick? I mean, there's other reasons. Chelsea is a big time club and a big time opportunity, but do you think that that could be JK?
JK, oh, yeah, think of Maresca going to Chelsea.
That's just a weird one, that one, Yeah, but maybe you don't know. But for me, Chelsea are a bigger club than Leicester, so he's just jumped ship.
Certainly.
He's gonna get a good contract. If he gets sacked after a year, he could live for the rest of his life, same as Potter. So job done. That's what I'm saying about football managers now. We can get our coaching badges tomorrow. Take over a second, third division team somewhere, win the league, blah blah blah. Would we end up being Liverpool manager in 3 years? It's
Right,
like,
right.
what is football becoming? Where's the experience in these guys before they get the big jobs?
No,
You know,
look, it's a very unique situation. I know. I've been telling Irishman I want to do a series on some of the coaches that are currently the new age of coaching, basically, what we're seeing. You know, whether it's players, whether it's coaches, whether it's even players. It's very interesting some of the decisions that are being made with the influence of Saudi Arabian money, with the influence of with PSR now, whether it's one thing to have it be related to your stance or point deductions within the Prem, but it's another thing considering these competitions have their own PSR as well rules, that impact you as a team. So great, you know what? You might say to yourself, "Oh, I'll just take deductions or I'll take the penalty, but I'll still end up winning the league or something like that." But then, guess what? It can impact you on your ability to play in the Champions League or in Europa or whatever competition that you're trying to amount to. So it does have a very heavy impact. on a lot of different things, the finances and everything.
What
I
this
just
is,
thought, yeah.
the interesting thing is, it's because there's connections that aren't really being made. Is what I call the death of the manager.
Mm-hmm.
There is no managers out there. There are no heavily CV'd, multi-European Cup winning, multi-title, in the game for 20 years, guaranteed proven winning managers that wear overcoats and suits on the sideline and make all the decisions. There's one left, and he's called Carlo Ancelotti, and he's at Real Madrid, which is the only club in world football that still operates pretty much on a premise like that. The world of football has completely changed. The the joke about head coach manager, that's what you are now. You are a coach. There are no managers anymore. It is the death of the manager. Clubs are data driven, and they're driven by people who make sure that the club runs in a way that it doesn't matter who the manager is per se, that you don't come in with, like I said, Chelsea spend £150 million, £160 million to buy players which are specifically built to play for Antonio Conte and his 3-4-3 wing-back system. And a year and a half later, they sack Conte. And they sign a manager who has a completely different style of play and a completely different way of playing.
Mm-hmm.
So has no use for most of the players that have been bought by the previous manager. That is not what clubs want to do anymore. They want to make sure that the club has a way of playing, which is what everybody lauds Barcelona for, that they play the same way no matter who the coach is, no matter who the manager is. So the manager, the coach, Barcelona have never had managers. Barcelona have always had coaches, never had managers. So the players that come through know how to play. They all play the same way. That's all the top clubs are doing now. It doesn't matter who the manager is. When he comes, it's not about being a yes man. It's not about being told what to do. You accept these players. This is how football is going now. You have top quality people identifying top quality talent and handing it to a manager. It's not being told that these are your players. It's about having brilliant people in charge, identifying top quality talent and saying, here you go. You've got these brilliant players lined up. Which one do you want? You make the final decision along with us. Let's go. Let's make an execution on this deal. It's not about being a yes man. This is how everybody works now. That's what a football director is there for. Directors of all these things is to make sure that a manager has, because it's a high pressure job. Winning in Premier League is very, very difficult, and the most important thing is what? The next game. So you take all the pressure off that manager by saying everything is built in around you. You have the best of everything. Here's the players. We're going to get them. You don't need to worry about anything other than coaching the team. That's why being the head coach, that's the future. Whether you like it or not, that's the way things are going. The days of the manager that comes in and controls everything are gone. They're done. That's what Klopp didn't understand. Klopp is a bit of the end of that. That's what happened with him and Edwards. He wanted to be that guy. Edwards said, that's not the future, dude. I'm out. Now, you can argue till the sun goes down about who brought in the better players, but this to me is what people need to understand. It's not a slight on a manager when, oh, look, it's a job title. He's not a manager, he's head coach. It's like, yeah, ain't nobody giving him the reins to sign, sack, sell, buy, run everything. Nope.
It's kind of interesting too, Brian and JK. I'd like to hear your opinion on this too. For instance, I mentioned Rashford was being looked at by Arsenal. I know that I threw out there that the concept of us going for Sancho, but that's not going to ever happen. It's interesting that Arsenal and even sometimes Chelsea, they can do business with each other, if not do business with but yet when it comes to Liverpool, we seem to get, like no opportunities to do any of those kinds of like moves or maneuvers. It seems, not saying it doesn't happen ever. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen. But the likelihood of that actually happening is very little, very like little to none of that actually going through. Very rarely do you ever hear, oh, there's a Red Devil that's on the market, and Liverpool are are highly the highly destination place for that player. You know, whether it's Chelsea, whether it's whether we've had players obviously go from Liverpool to Chelsea, but like it seems like kind of weird that it's rare that we get these players from these big name clubs within the Prem, at least, you know.
Okay.
JK, you want to hit that one?
Well, I'll just say quickly, mine. If they're not good enough for them, they're not good enough for us. That's usually what it is.
Yeah. I just saw K-Max comment. Yeah.
If they're not good enough for them, they're not good enough for us.
Right.
We don't buy from United. So usually, if they're not good enough for Arsenal, Chelsea, why are we buying them? No.
Well, I get that. I'm just saying because Kai Havertz wasn't technically good enough for Chelsea.
Well, I just mean in a broad stroke. But in a broad stroke. I just mean in broad strokes. Yes. Individual deals, yes, but just in broad strokes. Usually we're the best team in England, we consider. So, we don't need their players.
That's just interesting. Yeah. It's just very interesting.
But we don't need their players. It's a thing. It's just a thing. Yeah, it is a thing, but it's a good thing. It's proper.
It's proper. Yeah, you're okay with that part of the universe being the way it is, basically. Yeah. JK, do you want to have a say on that one?
Yeah, Liverpool are a team that never really sort of do deals with other clubs in the Premier League, like Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, even United. They all little transfers here and there. Mm-hmm. So, like for me, Liverpool, like we would never see a Man United player coming to Liverpool. Like I can't really see that.
Never.
Right.
Never. Not directly.
It's happened, but yes.
Like the Inns, like you might have an Inns.
Yeah.
Where they go via.
I don't even know if Ince was a transfer. I think he was a free, but like.
No, that's what I mean. He might have played for United and then played for even that's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like how someone played for United. Well, yeah, for Owen, But for us, just signing someone who played. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
No, just saying, like Owen did that move there, and it sort of destroyed his whole Liverpool image, A lot of fans haven't forgiven him. So that's what it is, I think he did that on purpose to wind us up because we played him too many games when he was younger. Hence why he kept on getting injured and stuff. And I think that was a bit of a FU to Liverpool as a club.
Yeah, no, there was a player. I'm trying to think of the name of the player.
Sorry, KJ.
No, there was one player that actually got transferred from Manchester United. It was back in I want to say it's in the 80s, but if not the 70s, like 80s or 70s, like right around.
That's how far you're back they're going. Yeah, no, KJ Ince didn't join us from United.
No,
he went
Michael Owen's not a scenario like that either.
No, but KJ saying Ince was a free straight from United. He wasn't. He was
a free. That's what I thought.
He went to Inter Milan. We bought him from Inter Milan. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he didn't come straight from United to Liverpool. That never would have happened. No way.
No, it wasn't even the 80s. It wasn't even the 80s, by the way. It was
it's way back. It's way back.
1964.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
The biggest transfer was a guy named Phil Chisnall, and he went.
Phil Chisnall.
Yep.
Phil Chisnall is one of the most famous Liverpool quiz names of all time because that's literally how rare it is. There's just one guy.
Yeah.
There's literally just who's the one guy every time? Phil Chisnall. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how rarely it happens, and that's how it should be. Like if you're not good enough to play for us. Yeah, I'm not saying Chelsea cast off. Don't care. They can go somewhere else. But it's how you have to be at the top of the tree. We're Liverpool.
Yeah.
We don't buy your players. We sell you errors that we don't need anymore. That's how it works.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This sounds so funny. Yeah, he said it. It's kind of like, yeah, here you can take our leftovers or something like that. But not you can't have any of our legends.
I was
It's just,
watching a game. Sorry, I was watching a game the other night. It was a Liverpool versus Newcastle, and Barnes and Rush were playing for Newcastle, and the commentator made a quote of what Barnes had said, and Barnes had said, "Now Barnes, lest we forget, I think we can all agree, is one of the greatest English League players of all time. John Barnes is one of the greatest Liverpool players of all time." And the commentator quoted Barnes saying, Barnes still playing like starting Premier League games for Newcastle, was saying that obviously he found it really tough when Liverpool called time on his Liverpool career. And that to me was like, yes, exactly. That's how you need to operate. We called time on his career. That's how it used to be at Liverpool. We were the top of the tree, and we turned around to you and said, John, it's over. That's how big we were.
Yeah.
Even if you were that good, we need to get back to that point where we call time on your career. That spoke deeply to me about how we used to be. The very best were like going home to their wives at the weekend and going, what's wrong, John? I'm really worried they're not going to offer me a new contract. Because after Liverpool, it's done. It doesn't get better than this.
True.
You know what I mean? That's what I want us to get back to, is where the best in the world are there going, I don't know if they're going to offer me a new deal.
Yeah.
Being terrified to get cut by Liverpool, because we cut the Bradys, the LeBrons, we cut Muhammad Ali's. That's how lethal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I want us to get back to that, where everyone is walking in going, Messi is there going, I don't know if they're going to offer me a new deal. That's what we were talking. Barnes, I loved that quote, the way we called time in his career. And I just remember, that's what we used to be like. The best in the world. Sorry, you're done. This is Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that question. I was just making sure about. I just mentioned it in the chat to Ian, because it's the same thing. Even with Everton, we don't like. It's unique that there are certain clubs that we choose to make transfers to and from in the league, but very rarely do we make transfers to amongst the top six or big six. You know. And the trivia question I was going to ask was like, can you name the last Everton player, to play for us, to be transferred to us, or can you name even the biggest transfer to ever come from Everton to Liverpool? And I mean, again, there was transfers, but it was the year 2000 and year 2002. And then Realism Jared just put in the dates for the players that have been either to or from for Manchester United to Liverpool. But again, 1913,
1964.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right there.
1937.
Those are some proper old names, though. Jackie Sheldon, Fred Hopkins, Tom McNulty, Phil Chisholm. There's no Ronaldos back then. There's no Bobby Firminos back then. They're all fucking. These boys all have weekend jobs in the pub and stuff.
Yeah. But even during those eras, I bet it was looked at more so, even somewhat to what I think you were just alluding to, and somewhat of what Reels and Jarrett was pointing out to, in that even though it was Manchester United to Liverpool, it was a step up from Manchester United to Liverpool. It wasn't like as in there's a reason why you wanted that transfer to go through. It wasn't like vice versa, and that they were playing for Liverpool and they wanted to get to Manchester United for some reason.
No. You never
Yeah.
cross that divide. I
Yeah.
think it's one of those things. Is probably
Mhm.
it really is. I mean, like we're talking about, the only guys are the guys that go via,
Mhm.
like Daryl's talking about Paul Ince. I was never comfortable with Paul Ince,
Yeah, I was
even
never.
though
Yeah, I'm not a
he didn't
Paulins
come
fan.
directly.
But
And I'm a huge, obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, but anyone that knows me knows my second team, or my second interest is Inter Milan.
mhm.
I love Inter, and the fact that he played for Liverpool and Inter and doesn't matter to me. He's a man.
Mhm.
To me, Paul Ince is a Man United player.
Oh
Always
yeah,
has.
he said
Always
it.
will.
He said it. True. He said that he's a red
Yeah.
devil till he dies.
Yeah.
Type thing.
So to me, don't
Yeah.
care. Doesn't matter.
It's like funny. I brought up the Anthony Martial and JK. You can comment on this one if you can. I put out the Anthony Martial question earlier, but I knew my answer was going to be no. As soon as he said in his comment, he's like, "I'll be a Red Devil. I'll always be a Red Devil," and I was like, "Oh, cross that name off the list." You know, like not even a second thought about it. You know, like if he had said something like Bundy's Red Devils and or something like that, if he had said, "Hey, I've always wanted to get out of this place. It's a bad place," and blah 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 blah, and I'm looking forward to Liverpool, that's a different story. But you're gonna be a Red Devil to forever. Yeah. Good luck to you. Good luck to you for sure.
Oh God, Ian, don't.
What's that now? What's that?
Oh, he just mentioned Rakova.
Rakoba.
Oh
I
my
got you.
God, Jesus! If you can, if you love football, just go onto YouTube and Google Rakova debut Inter Milan.
Mhm.
This guy scored. This guy made his debut in the same game as Ronaldo did, and he scored two of the best goals you will ever see scored. Literally made his
Mhm.
debut for a club like Inter Milan and scored an incredible, just an incredible free kick, and then scored one of the best long range goals you will ever see. And he made his debut alongside Ronaldo. And yeah, he is Uruguayan.
Yeah,
Rekaba is like, there's a lot of things that made me fall in love with Inter Milan. Rekaba is one of them. That is one of the greatest debut performances you will ever see. Two of the best goals you'll ever see.
Mhm.
This guy has got to be, yeah. And Ronaldo is on the pitch just going, all right, nice one,
All right.
nice one, nice. Okay, yeah, nice one. Went on to have an incredible season, but Rekaba, yeah, Rekaba never really kind of went on and hit the heights. But yeah, two of the best goals you will ever see. That long range one, especially. You can see it in his
Yeah,
face.
that's a shout too for Xavier. Is excuse me, Abel.
Oh, that was Xavier. Yeah, to play for
Xavier.
Spurs.
Yeah, Abel Xavier. Because I guess he's Portuguese.
Yeah, mad looking,
Yeah.
guy. Loved a
Yeah,
bit of
he
hair on
was.
that.
He was.
Not
He scored in his debut too.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought him from them. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. He
Bought
was.
him from Everton, and he was. He scored. I think he has one of the. He has one of the fastest debut scoring. It's not the fastest, but I think he has like one of the top. He scored in like the first I want to say 20 minutes or something like that, 18 minutes.
I think Barnby was a brilliant signing. I didn't like it at the time.
He did die. It did dye his hair blonde, the
Oh,
beard
he did a
and
lot.
eyebrows.
Yeah, he did the whole thing.
Yeah, he did the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Barnby was actually really good for us. I didn't like it, but he was actually really good.
Oh yeah.
Xavier, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian, Ian, me and you, we need to sit down and have a pint, man. You're talking my language here. Walter Samuel is one of my favorite players of all time, man. Walter Samuel is one of my favorite players of all. They called him the Wall for a reason. Unbelievable football.
Super cool.
Yeah,
We'll reminisce. Well, you'll have time to reminisce. I don't know if we'll have. I don't know if he played in. Yeah, I don't think he did play. I don't think he did play on that in that year. But I don't think Apple played in 2006. I want to say. But we'll be going back in time tomorrow. So that'll be an opportunity to possibly relive and see some of these great names and these great players as such. I'm hoping to find something from the 90s eventually. There are some offerings up there, but if you want to talk about like quality, I know some of the people out there don't know what VHS is. They don't know what VHS even means.
Yeah, KJS, Caroline with the seal dribble. Yeah, I remember Caroline, the guy who was famous for the seal dribble. He used to, do you remember him, J.K. Caroline? He'd trick it up, he'd land it on his head, and he'd run balancing the ball on his head. This guy, he was famous, he was a South American kid. Do you remember Caroline? He made that the seal dribble. He used to take
the name rings a bell, actually.
Yeah, if you look Caroline seal dribble on YouTube, he'd flick the ball up onto his head, and that was his thing. You know, he'd run past you, holding the ball on his head, and people, like KJ's, like they just started smashing into him. Yeah, that's like 2006, 7 is Caroline. He's going to be the next Messi. And did you remember Carrison, the different guy? He went to Barcelona. Another one.
Whatever happened to Caroline though? Caroline, whatever happened to him?
Probably seal dribbled too many times and got kicked out of the game. But yeah, they see that as like a massive disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if you do that, we're allowed to slam you. It's sort of like we can't kick you if you go past us with skill, but if you do that, that's taunting, and that's basically taking the piss out of your oppo so they can kick you. In Brazil, that's how that works. It's you're getting smashed. Do it, but you're getting smashed.
I do see that he was. I do see that he is credited for creating the seal dribble.
They named it after him. Yeah, the seal dribble. Yeah, it's the shit they did on the streets. You know, it's street football. It's pure street baller, which is what we all love to see. Love to see it.
Yeah.
But you do that to some guy, he's gonna just go right off you, bang.
Yeah, because the whole world's watching.
You see what happens to Neymar. I see you. I understand what you're saying.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like Neymar times 10.
Yeah.
Richarlison, when he dribbled on the sideline. Do you remember when Richarlison 2 years ago did keepy uppies? Do you remember that?
No.
Ball passed to him. He was playing for Tottenham. He got the ball passed to him, and he flicked it up, and he did 2 keepy uppies because he was in a load of space.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I do remember that. Remember that.
He got absolutely fucking smashed by, I can't remember who they were playing. Let's just say it's Fulham. Sorry, Fulham fans or whoever it is, but he just did a couple of kind of trick keepy uppies. And he just the guy comes
flying in or something like that.
Him, takes him out of the game completely. And Jamie Carragher was coming up. Jamie Carragher basically said if he'd gotten injured on that, he would have deserved it because he was taking the piss. It's like, okay, Jesus, Jamie. I mean, he just did a couple of keepy uppy. But this guy was like, no, I'm not having that. And he just comes in, bang. And Carragher's like, yeah, well, that's if you take the piss, you should expect to get smashed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a bit of skill, like, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of skill.
If Torres had done that when you were on the pitch with him and someone went and broke his leg, would you think that? I think you would.
It makes you think of Diaz did I think it was against Bournemouth, I want to say. He did a goal where he got the pass, he flicked it up He flicked it up to himself and then volleyed it. Remember that? It was this past year. This past campaign, and that was just like, it was kind of like a cheeky move. It's sort of like, it's almost as cheeky as I wouldn't say. Well, the Kwanzaa got the assist. It was in Europa to Diego when he did that little like flick, and then Diego didn't even celebrate. I think Diego didn't celebrate because of like he didn't want to.
Wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. It was like, why is he not celebrating?
Yeah, and I think it was because it was a little bit too flamboyant.
Did it flick?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was awesome though. I thought it was a pretty incredible goal, and but it is all good. It's all good. Kwanzaa with the great assist.
You gotta know how to read the body language, man. You gotta know how to read the body language.
Yeah.
You gotta know it, that body language. It's very important.
Yeah. So what you're saying, players are jealous and then want to kick the skillful player? Yeah, that sounds like our society. Yeah, pretty much.
There's a great one. There's a misconception as well, but there's an interesting one where Nasri and Fabregas are playing for Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, and the way Arsene, do it, pass. That goal they scored. It's like, 15 passes, and Jack Wilshere kind of, does what he does. They were famous for all that, but Fabregas had left Arsenal, and he posted up a goal that him and Nasri had been involved in, sort of like a pass, running through the middle, and he scores. And Nasri goes, posts up a comment going, great combination we had, bro. They wouldn't let it happen today. And Fabregas goes, yeah, exactly. And some randomer comes on going, oh, yeah, modern defenders, right? They kick the shit out of you, right? They kill you. And they're like, no. Managers, dude, managers. 2 free. There were 2 free. They were just pop, 1, 2, bang, bang. They ran through the middle, just worked off each other. That relationshipism that they're talking about in Brazilian football at the moment. They just went. Nasri saw Fabregas saw Nasri, boom, bang, went with each other. He said, no, managers these days.
Yep.
You'd have to be here, you'd have to be there. We just play.
Oh yeah, it's like Balotelli.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like the Balotelli. It was preseason, but there was no reason for Balotelli to do what he did, and he didn't even score on it. By the way, he just made it. He flubbed it. You know what I'm talking about, right? The one where he like did some spinning kick or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Remember that, JK?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know that the coach was not happy about that, and he did not care that it was, City on tour in America. He was like, "What the heck was that?" But that's Balotelli for you. But
just a quick point about what we were talking about in the old days when they wanted people to get into football. They needed them flamboyant players because people wanted to see that,
Right.
Later on, like 30, 40 years later, 50 years even, they want robots. Like a lot of football, like Man City, very robotic football. It's successful, it works. But when you're looking at it, I cannot watch a Man City game, really. Very boring, I feel. But Liverpool, different ball game, it's exciting. It's a little bit different. But football has become very robotic. With that becomes success,
How can Jacob? I'll say, how can a team like Man City, and this will tell you how things have changed, and the answer is Pep Guardiola. How can a team like Man City not have a player like Ronaldinho? How can a player like Man City not have a Neymar, an out-and-out flair player? Like, they can completely dominate. They can do all of that. How can they not have one superstar.
Yeah.
Like their biggest guy is Haaland, a goal robot. Someone like De Bruyne who can bring a bit of magic, and then Foden this year, who's finally been allowed a little bit off the leash. Right, this is the closest you can get. Like the flair, the individuals, it's been completely taken out of it now.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
do.
yeah.
They're all gone. They just want systems. Even the
Did you
best
not
players
hear?
in the
Did you not
world.
hear what the Fluminense team announced on their website? The Brazilian side, Fluminense, announced the signing of Erling Haaland from Manchester City. You didn't hear that?
Nope, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's gone under the
Yeah,
radar.
but that's
Yeah.
only
Well,
that's only because that's confirmed. I'm not making that up. I'm
okay.
not trying to, but
Okay.
that's because they've confirmed that their official website was hacked, and that was something that was put on it. Kind of crazy. I'm sure there's some people in Brazil like, what?
Did you hear mine and Brian's awkward silence after you read that out? You were like,
I know.
It was
I'm
a
sure
silent
everyone in the chat was like, what? What's going on?
What's going on here?
But yeah, that was confirmed. Fluminense announced the signing of Erling Haaland from Manchester City, only for it to be confirmed that their official website was hacked. It's kind of funny.
Can you imagine how many goals he's scoring in Brazil?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it came out right after the FA Cup, so it was kind of like, wow, they're really. I'm like, they're
this
really
is another
down.
final. He's not showing up in. This
Exactly.
is another. This is what
finals. They just said,
finals, something like that.
He's either
This
good or
one's
bad.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, JK, man, this guy, like, you play fantasy football. I play fantasy football. Last season, lock. You couldn't. I mean, you had to have the guy. This season, some people can't. Like, I took him out of my team the last kind of 10 games, maybe. Yeah, he came in clutch in one game where he scored 4 goals. But when you looked at it, like, he's Haaland. You have to have Haaland. Everyone have to captain Haaland. The last 10 games of the season, just in terms of strikers, 5, 6, 7 guys outperformed. If you just wanted points for your fantasy, you did not need Haaland. Whereas before, you have to have Haaland, you have to have him. Oh, if you don't have him, you're screwed.
Mateta, you needed.
I brought in Mateta. I brought in Isaac. I brought in Cunha. I brought in all these guys. They all outperformed Haaland. All of them. And so he comes in.
Yeah.
And then what? Look, another cup final. He has a chance. Does nothing. I mean,
send him to Brazil. Send him to Brazil.
Yeah, but Haaland's either good or bad. He's either one of the two, you know.
Right.
And I see that he don't get involved in games as much. But I said but for me, he's very good at finding the second ball. He knows exactly where to be if it hits the bar, if it hits the post, if the goalie saves it. The guy knows where to be.
He's born to score goals. He is.
He's born to score goals. He's a robot, as Brian
said.
No,
you're talking about his anticipation. Where it's probably going to land. You can't always be right, but he just has an instinct for that ball's going to go over there. If it hits him, it'll probably land there. I'll go stand there. 8 times out of 10, it does. Bang, go. Happen. Usually like a tap-in or something.
Yeah.
But pure anticipation.
He's the best in the game of that. I was trying to tell youth players like I know and stuff like watch Haaland play. He's not a very good footballer because he don't need to be because he gets paid to score goals and he's always in the right position. He's not fast. He's a little bit tough, don't get me wrong, but the guy is a goal machine.
But there's no way. Yeah.
He's got it in him.
No, I'm sorry. Finish your point.
Elite finisher.
Yeah, elite finisher. And when you look at Darwin, for example, totally different footballer, full of energy, excites the fans, but he doesn't score enough goals. So
Oh,
I thought it was. I
difference.
think it was a little harsh. I know that
Yeah,
I'm not. I put something in the private chat for you guys, but I know it was harsh. Well, this is a subject I definitely want to continue on about because it's something that it's interesting. I have some statistics. I have some like insights on the cyborg, and I agree. I don't necessarily think that there are a lot of people are talking about he got like he didn't show up in that game against United, for instance, in the FA Cup. Albeit it takes more than him just showing up. It has to the team has to. You got to have KDB on point, like as and he doesn't create on his own. He's not R9. Where you could like pass it and he'll like dribble around you. You know what I mean? But it also is one of those cases where like again in that game, what was unique about it was when you saw what's his go blank on his name. What's their center back they just got back? He just came back for United.
Varane.
No.
Martinez.
Short guy, the butcher, the vegetarian butcher or whatever he's called. Martinez, right? Okay, we'll make sure.
Injured again.
Is he injured again?
He got injured in the Man United the cup final.
Oh,
he came off.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the reason why. I didn't notice that was the reason why he came off.
Maybe he was fatigue. Maybe
he could have cost them that game. I mean, like they were talking about Haaland, and Haaland got pushed. Haaland got pushed in the back. Where I'm just like, if you're not going to call that, then I guess okay, cool.
If I need somebody to save my life in a cup final, I'm going an Argentinian centre half. That's what you do.
Yeah,
those guys are. So if he puts in a performance, I can imagine a 5'8" Martinez looking at a 6'5" Haaland going, "I'm having him."
Yeah,
and Varane going, "No, look, dude, let me have him." No, and Martinez going, "No, I'm having him.
I'll take it. Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. And he's just like, "Okay, cool," and he goes out and does it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you're talking about there. I mean, we can talk about the thing like Haaland's not.
That was a foul. That was a foul, by the way. That was a foul.
That's the gamble with them guys, though. Like them Argentinian centre backs, they will like Romario as well. He did some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
and for me, exactly. I wouldn't want that.
Said that. Keep going, JK. You're right.
I wouldn't want that as my. When you look at Virgil and Kwanzaa, for example, very calm. They're not going to do any little things like that, where they can jeopardize the game.
Yeah, the little forearm shiver to the back or something like that, or
Romero's a wild card. Romero's a total wild card, but I'm talking about the likes of Walter Samuel, Roberto Ayala. Roberto Ayala is one of the greatest centre halves of all time, and he's about 5'8". He's tiny. Played for Valencia, played for Argentina. Roberto Ayala, absolute legend. Tiny little guy. This Martinez guy, tiny little guy. They probably get sent off maybe once a season if you look at it. But they'll kill you. They'll eat you up. That's what you need in a team. It's like if they're big, Walter Samuel the wall. Like if you had a Samuel plus an Ayala, you're not getting beat. You're just not. Like you get beaten around the sides. You won't get beaten through the middle.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's definitely do the DeLorean. Get the DeLorean fired up. You don't have to use the uranium or whatever it is. We can take some of the. We'll take the tears of Red Devils. That's what our DeLorean rides off of.
Yes, tears. That's the tears of
the tears of our rivals is what we run the DeLorean off of here.
JK is our chief mechanic over here, and he has converted it to run off the tears of our rivals. So,
exactly.
Exactly.
We're 100% carbon neutral over here,
right? Exactly. So join us tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun show. I have a definitely cool game picked out for us. And it'll be a little like back to the watch along, and also it'll be an opportunity just to kick back, talk about yesterday, and some of the joys that the game brought from those memories, and also talk about some new subjects. It's always a fun. I think it's become one of the better shows, I think, on YouTube. I think
I think it's one of
is
the
the
best
back
shows.
to watch.
To be honest with you, I don't know. Yeah, to me, it's the best show really on YouTube.
There you go.
I know.
There you
Maybe
go.
I'm biased.
Yeah, maybe. I'm biased because you guys are there with us, in the chat. I think we have the best chat. So that's why it makes it that much cooler to hang out, because it's not like you're just watching a game and you're not having any interaction or anything like that. It's lively interaction. It's a good time. It's a reminisce. It's the first time for some, it's a reminisce.
Jared backing me up there. I said, I guarantee you, Martinez never had more than one red card in a season. He's never been red carded. This is what I'm talking about.
That's crazy.
Yeah, these guys, proper bulldogs, but they know how to bring it to the line. They know how to take it to the line. This is what I'm talking about.
But not cost their team. Yeah, but not cost their team.
South American players know how to bring aggression.
Well, Romero.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's the wild card.
Yeah, this guy. But again, how many red cards has Christian Romero had?
He's got at least one.
He's gone most of this season without getting any.
Yeah,
I don't think he's been sent it off at all this year. I love Romero.
Yeah.
I think he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think you just need it. Like these guys, and also this is what I'm talking about. Is the second part of this is all of these boys, as hard as they are, tough as they are, they're South American footballers. Mm-hmm. They can play. They can all play.
2 red cards, by the way. He's got 2 red cards in his entire career.
Yeah, Romero can play. Martinez can play. They can pass. They don't get worried in possession.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. They're brought up in South American football. They can all play. They can all pass.
Yeah.
Mascherano played centre half for Barcelona for 8 years now.
Yeah.
These boys are, to me, the Argentinian is the best type of centre half. Hard as nails, can play.
I okay. I like German center backs, but I got you. When it comes to Europe, at least, what I've seen from Europe or European, like as in club play.
Yeah, they make good center halves. They do.
Yeah,
Germans definitely do.
Yeah, I'm not a Gooner.
See, I wouldn't be so big on Brazilian center.
Mertesacker was like the kind of like I always thought that he was a good player. I always wanted to have like center backs in that mold. But
you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be so big on Brazilian center halves.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Brazilian center half doesn't have that Argentine. Like if you want to take it a step further in toughness, Uruguayan center halves. They're right up there in terms of Diego Godin, these type of guys, real tough players, and they can also play. But I wouldn't have a Brazilian center half. It'd be like because they don't have that kind of tough edge. The Argentinian guys, they have the strength and that kind of like will kill you kind of thing, but also the skill. Sensini, great player.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, if you're building,
I just thought he was just a menacing presence. That's all. Pierre Mertesacker, he was like a menacing. He's like, he was big boy, 6'6", that kind of like, big. Big rugged German in the like that kind of like, you're not going to get pushed out. You're not going to get. If you're going to run into, if you're going to try to go up for a header, you're probably going into a wall kind of concept. If you're going to meet him type concept. I always like that premise of it.
For me,
it's kind of why I wanted. If any, like I I hated Rudiger. Trust me, I hate him when he played for Chelsea. But like,
Great player, I think he is.
I wouldn't have mind if he had played for Liverpool. Different story, you know.
I think if Rudiger played for any team that wasn't, say, like at a top, say for some reason Rudiger played for a second tier team, he'd be a central midfielder.
Oh yeah. Possibly. He played like a DM.
Yeah,
He'd
that
probably
guy's
try to do like a
midfield.
Rodri role or something like that. He's very fast.
Yeah, he can
I don't know
score
why
goals.
people are talking about his speed or talking about his running and something like that, trying to make fun of his running. I'm like, he one of his strengths is his pace.
Yeah,
Despite his,
Real Madrid don't buy you 29 for no reason. That guy is a monster.
Yeah. But guys, thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to let you guys go on to your final destinations if this isn't the last. You know how we do with the Live Bird. We always like to fly high above the clouds and chill, take it easy, maybe like, do some banter and then always get you to your destination, So is there anything you'd like to say to the people before we let them go, JK?
Yeah, just look after yourselves, be happy, and enjoy the Euros when they come soon.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing some of the Euros, some of the games, and even some of the Copa games as well. So I mean, it's always gonna be we're gonna keep it Liverpool related, just so you know. So like it'll be either a player that we are in the market for or a player that we currently have as well. So be sure to know that you're going to see a Copa America game of, for instance, like Darwin versus the U.S. men's national team, something like that. Should be fun times.
But
You know,
he looks happy in training for Uruguay. I've seen a few pictures and stuff.
He loves Uruguay.
Players are always much happier when they join their national
They
teams.
get back
It's
home,
all, it's home. You get the home cooking. You get to speak your language, the language that you might be fluent in. You talk about stuff that is culturally relevant to you. You know what I mean? It's like it's that moment that you can like kind of breathe a little bit easier, as opposed to trying to understand sometimes the things that are surrounding you in your new surroundings. So good for him. I hope it does him wonders and gets his confidence to the level we need it to be.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I hope he scores goals. Yeah. Club culture, country culture is it's a different ball game, sort of.
Yeah.
I think the pressure is sort of in the old days, the pressure was more when you became an international. It's weird. But nowadays it's not so bad. I think the Premier League pressure and Champions League pressure is sort of more than your international career pressure.
Irishman, do you want to give some shouts before we bounce out?
No, I haven't seen them do anything in a while. They usually do. So if there's anyone in here, maybe Jimmy, Bernie, people that I know that brought in that haven't been subscribed to any of our other channels or friendly channels, Bayesian Reds TV. I mean, everyone's going to need some new. It's going to get quiet, so everyone's going to need a bit of a boost. So Bayesian Reds TV, if you haven't subscribed to them, go and subscribe to them.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to be, but we're going to be doing, nightly stuff. Again, it's not going to be. We all know stuff is thin on the ground, but we're not going to be doing any nonsense. We'll still be on every night. So yeah, just keep coming back in, and thanks everybody for joining in tonight because it's brilliant. No chat,
sure.
no show, really. So
I'll put Frank's link in there as well.
Big up. I thought Frank was coming on the show today, but all the same. If you haven't subscribed to Bayesian Reds or TV, or you haven't subscribed to Frank Carlisle, or if you haven't subscribed to
K-Mac was in order. Yeah,
K-Mac channel, exactly. Quasi Bowl TV, like all those channels out there are Ensban, of course, certainly. Savage Sports, like all those, they're all part of the the brethren of the community here that it's important that we continue to support each other, because if we don't, then we'll always be the minnows, swimming amongst the big fish out there that end up getting the voice. They end up taking over the narratives and the voice of our communities, and we don't need that. We don't need that. We need the righteous ones out here that, like yourselves, that really do show the true essence of what I believe is a true red, in my humble opinion, and that is inclusion. That is the ability to support and walk with one another, and as always, respect each other. That's the most important thing, is respect. So,
I always say, supporting Liverpool is like a privilege. It's like not everyone supports Liverpool, if you see it, like in England especially. So supporting Liverpool, there's a reason behind it. So support the club, the team. No need to moan about this, that, and the other.
Yes. I just laughing at realizing Jared's comment there. That is certainly true. That is certainly true what you said, though, too, JK. But all right, you guys, tomorrow, hop in the DeLorean with us. Let's go back in time. All right. And
like Huey Lewis says, we're going to go back in time.
Exactly. And until tomorrow, please continue to take care of yourselves. Continue to take care of your loved ones. That's always the preface of what we need to do in this life. And if anything, as always, up the Reds. All right.